the heart of St. Louis, Valley Sports Midwest, the heart of the fan.
Years ago today, on a beautiful September morning, our nation was shaken by terrorist attacks. A nation that was shaken but did not fall. Instead stood strong, united. Tonight, we remember and shall not forget the lives of innocent citizens and heroes lost on September 11th, 2001. Tonight, it's Game 2 between the Cardinals and the Reds. We get you set for it right here on Valley Sports. And good evening, everyone. Welcome inside our Valley Sports Midwest studios here at Ballpark Village. It is Toyota Cardinals Live. Scott Warman with you. And we're joined by former Cardinal lefty Ricky Horton this evening. Ricky, great to see you as always. And Ricky and I will have more on the events of 9/11 coming up a little bit later on in the program. But let's get to the present, the team on the field. Obviously, a very frustrating loss for the Cardinals last night when you think about the terrific start by John Lester. 2 more runs given up in the top half of the 9th inning. But again, Ricky, after Yadi's home run, the Cardinals only getting 3 more hits. The offense has been pretty silent during the better part of this homestand.
Yeah, I think that's a good explanation for the season in general. I think John Lester pitched as well as he has pitched as a Cardinal, gave the team a chance to win, and the Cardinals just couldn't get anything going against the Reds bullpen, especially. Only 1 hit in the 3 innings, and the bullpen has not been fully strong for them throughout this season. So Cardinals obviously need to win 2 out of 3 in this series, which means you've got to win tonight. And I've been staying away from saying must win, have to, but boy, if we're not there now, I don't know when we're going to get there. I think this is a game the Cardinals have to win, not just for math, but I also think for their psyche.
Yeah, the Reds and Padres now tied for that second wild card spot with their victory over the Cardinals. Of course, for the Cardinals, over the past couple of games, they've been shorthanded with the injury to Edmundo Sosa. Let's get over to Busch Stadium right now, where Jimmy the Cat Hayes joins us. Jimmy, good to see you, and give us an update on Edmundo.
Hey, Scotty, Edmundo Sosa not in the starting lineup again tonight as he deals with a sore left wrist. He hurt the wrist fielding a ground ball late in Wednesday's game. Now, Sosa looked pretty good today as he took some ground balls. Also taking some swings during BP. The training staff will have to assess Edmundo's availability for tonight, but he says he thinks he's ready to get back in there.
I felt really good with everything. I took BP. I didn't feel anything uncomfortable at that point. It's just a matter of getting back into the swings of normal, and I'm ready to go whenever my manager puts me in there.
Justin Miller had been on the IL since August 16th with a nerve issue in his right elbow. Justin had a couple of positive rehab outings, and now he comes off the IL. Ali Sanchez optioned to Memphis. Miller says he's glad to be back and past what was a problematic issue.
The front part of the forearm area, it was getting pinched there, and it was getting pinched in the back. So every time I try to fully extend on my slider, I was getting zingers down my hand, and my hand started going numb a little bit. I've been dealing with that for a few weeks before I actually said something. I thought it might have been mechanical or something was going on, and I really noticed it when my slider was 81, 82, when normally it's mid-80s. And so I finally was I had to go in and tell them something. I can't just keep pitching through this. So told the guys, and then they wound up putting me on a dose pack, which is a big anti-inflammatory.
Other notes, Mike Schultz says Genesis Cabrera had been unavailable since Sunday as he had a fingernail issue on his throwing hand. Schultz says he's past it, and Cabrera is available starting tonight. Also, Jordan Hicks, as we speak, on his way to Jupiter. He's driving there. He's going to be facing batters. Scotty Schultz says he doesn't think Jordan will make it back to the big club this year, but Jordan ready to face hitters.
All right, Jimmy, thank you so much. So the Cardinals, obviously, Ricky, starting to get some reinforcements, and as Jimmy mentioned, even during the pregame show and during the telecast last night, is the fact that Jack Flaherty, if he comes back, and it looks like he will be working out of the bullpen, which obviously helps the bullpen.
Yeah, and you can add Dakota Hudson to that list. Yeah. So Jim had a lot of news for us there, didn't he? And you're kind of sifting through all that as possibilities, but the idea is you've got to find somebody that's willing, able, healthy, and hot in the Cardinals bullpen, and it's nice to have Justin Miller back. Maybe he's going to be that guy. The Cardinals need to just find ways to win games. They're close day in and day out. out. They're just not coming through enough, either offensively or late in the game with the bullpen.
Well, as we know, Ricky, Yadier Molina, one of the captains on his team, he's trying to carry the team on his back right now. 2 hits last night. Look at that now. An even 2,100 for his career, Rick.
So fun to watch that home run, too, and his reaction. That's the most fun. But the fact that it was a fastball that was about, birds on the bat high, and he was able to get a level swing on it, be on top of it, didn't pop it up. There wasn't really kind of a launch angle problem there. It was a line drive home run on a pitch up in the zone. That is very tough to do.
All right, let's get you tonight's Homers for Help leaderboard, and we look at the most home runs hit against National League Central Division teams. And there you see Yadi has 94 home runs against National League Central Division teams behind his former teammates, Aaron Jimmy the Ball Game Edmonds, as well as Albert Pujols. All right, we take a look at the starting 9 for the Redbirds in game number 2. No changes as Tommy Edwin will lead things off, followed by Goldie, O'Neill, and Arenado. Yadi will be batting 5th, Dylan Carlson 6th, Paul DeJong again back at shortstop, as Jimmy mentioned, Harrison Bader in center field, and it will be Miles Michaelis getting the start for the Redbirds. As we continue on Twitter Cardinals Live, we'll look back at one of the most horrific moments in our nation's history. Stay with us on Bally Sports. Live on Bally Sports is brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Cardinal Glennon. Pledge for patients at homersforhealth.org to support Cardinal Glennon Kids. 20 years ago today, terrorist attacks rocked this nation. And days later, baseball became just a small part of the healing process.
20 years ago, terrorist attacks on the United States changed our way of life forever.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
There was no precedent for such a tragedy on American soil. So Major League Baseball suspended all games indefinitely, while our nation grieved and tried to make sense out of what had happened. 6 days later, a familiar face appeared with words of encouragement.
The President of the United States has said it is time to go back to work. And so, despite a heavy heart, baseball gets up out of the dirt, brushes itself off, and will follow his command, hoping in some small way to inspire the nation to do the same.
And then another baseball legend confirmed that it was time to play.
I don't know about you, but as for me, the question has already been answered. Should we be here? Yes.
There was magic in the air.
It is goosebumps at the Metrodome as baseball begins again.
And when Mike Piazza stepped up to the plate during the first game back in New York, there were fireworks.
Lopez wants it away.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza and the Mets lead 3-2.
And before Game 3 of the World Series, the president gave us all something to cheer about.
I was, loosening up, and Derek Jeter came in. He said, "Hey, Mr. President, you going to be throwing from the mound or from the, from in front of the mound?" I said, "What do you think, Derek?" He said, "Throw from the mound."
And please welcome the President of the United States.
The energy and the crowd and the noise was really, really powerful.
The place went nuts. All of us just kind of looked at each other and like, that was pretty freaking cool. And I don't think I've ever seen a country more unified than it was right then and there.
Though our country suffered tremendously, let's remember how we all stood together to create an even stronger America.
course, Ricky, you and the Cardinals will be in New York coming up this week, and you were just telling us yesterday you were near the Pentagon at that time, correct?
Yeah, I was in Annapolis, Maryland. I was at a golf tournament with some friends when I heard about it. So there was a proximity reality for me that, you know, I saw a lot of people kind of in the aftermath had a hard time actually getting back to St. Louis, but clearly not as hard a work as the people who were the responders going on. But I saw a lot of stuff there on the East Coast, and certainly a sad day. A lot of bad memories. One thing that's positive as I look back on it, my dear friend Tito Landrum was supposed to be working, a former Cardinal player, was supposed to be working in the bottom floor of the Trade Center that day, but had a dentist appointment. And we found out about that after the fact, and it's just something that we've shared over the years. But he, of course, knew a lot of people that did not make it that day.
A day none of us will ever forget. All right, as we continue on Toyota Cardinals Live, Game 2 tonight from Busch between the Cards and the Reds. Miles Michaelis will get the start. More on him when we come back on Bally Sports. Cardinals Live on Bally Sports is brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. Tonight, it's the middle of the game, the three-game set. Cardinals looking for the bounce back, and Ricky Horton, definitely Miles Michaelis, looking for the bounce back after his previous start this past week against the Dodgers.
And I think the bounce back for him, Scotty, is just not to have a bad inning. You know, he talked about how he settled in and was kind of the Miles Michaelis of old once he kind of got going, but you know, the Cardinals can't kind of wait to get going anymore. I mean, they've got to get going now, not only as a metaphor for what Miles Michaelis has to do today pitching-wise, but also collectively as a team. I mean, it's time to win, and it's time for Miles to be good out of the gate.
Absolutely. Saw the Reds just a week ago when the Cardinals were in Cincinnati. Remember, he was pulled after 3 innings, but that was the 7-inning game, and Mike Shildt said, hey, we have all hands on deck. We need to win this baseball game. So obviously, seeing him for the second time in a week. Meanwhile, Luis Castillo gets the start for the Reds, and he's had a tale of 2 seasons, so to speak, this year.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, the Cardinals have beat him up a couple of times, and one time was on opening day where he could barely get through the first inning. In fact, I think he gave up 8 runs in that first inning, but there are other times where he's unhittable. His changeup is really good, throws very hard. He's got his control back again, and, he's kind of dominating the strike zone, so it's not going to be easy to get to him.
All right, we'll see if the Cardinals can get the bounce back here tonight in the second of last game of the season series against the Cincinnati Reds over at Busch Stadium. Coming up, Dan McLaughlin and the Cardinal Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds will not only bring you Cardinals and Reds, but all the 9/11 pregame ceremonies from Busch when we come back on Bally Sports.
Home runs hit by the Reds. Joey Votto with number 30. Yachty tied it up with his own 2-run shot, but the Reds pulled out late in the ninth. Cardinals looking to bounce back in Game 2. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Look at Art Hill in St. Louis as we remember and get you set for baseball tonight at Busch Stadium. It's game number 2, the Reds and the Cardinals on Bally Sports Midwest. Jim Hayes is here. Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's a warm night, 86 degrees as we welcome you inside the broadcast booth here at Busch Stadium. Obviously, you think about what happened 20 years ago. Clearly, that's in the mind of so many Americans today and tonight. But one of the things that baseball did provide just 20 years ago, Jimmy, was hope and a sense of normalcy. And we get to celebrate America's pastime again tonight and play some baseball.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was at home watching a little bit of TV today, and even on the main news channels, they talked about baseball. And it was impressive to see that I was in the thick of things when that was going on. And, you worry about everything else that's going on around you, and all those people worried about is, can we get baseball back to cure people's happiness and get people out there again and cure the down part that this all created. But I was in shock when I was going through that and realized how important it is for these guys to go out there today, and in general, even us, and put on a show. And I think that people love it. And Excited to be here today.
Gave comfort, sense of normalcy, hope. And it is America's pastime. Miles Michaelis is on the mound for St. Louis tonight. We'll see if Miles can get back to form the way that he pitched a couple of years ago here at Busch Stadium. 4 starts since returning from the injured list. He's 0-2, ERA near 6. And there's a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal.
We could see right there. We know Miles. He throws everything. A lot of strikes, fastballs away, sliders. And got to get ahead against this lineup right here, as you can see the Cincinnati Reds.
All right, Jonathan India to lead it off, and the first pitch, take it for a strike. India this year hitting .271, 19 home runs. He's driven in 62. Of those 19 home runs, 5 have come via the leadoff homer. And the 1-1 pitch. And a fly ball into shallow right center. Under it, Harrison Bader for the first out. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. O'Neill, Bader, Carlson. That trio in the outfield. Arenado, DeYoung, Edman, Goldie on the infield. And behind the plate, Yadier Molina. Max Schrock promoted from Louisville in late August. TJ Antone was on the 10-day IL. And the former Cardinal hits it sharply to Goldie with time, out number 2.
I mean, you hit the ball down the line against this team, and I don't even know if you have to explain it. It's just they gobble it up and toss it or throw it over to first base, and you can see that had a weird little hop, but no panic.
Plenty of time on a hard hit ball, and now it's Nicholas Castellanos, the right fielder, hitting .317, 27 home runs. He's driven in 79. He's talking with the folks that follow the Reds, and Castellanos can opt out of his deal, and he said, yeah, no one with our club really wants to talk about that now. We realize just how good a hitter he is, and a chance for him to maybe cash in even more, and who knows if it's with Cincinnati or another club, or he just doesn't even opt out.
Reminds me a little bit of JD Martinez.
A little bit.
Extension, can swing with one hand and have so much pop.
Arenado makes the play. 6-pitch inning for Miles Michaelis. Castillo to the mound for the Reds when we come back. Lineup for St. Louis. Tommy Edman at the top, Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, Dylan Carlson, Yadier Molina, Paul DeYoung, Harrison Bader, and Miles Michaelis. The St. Louis lineup tonight for Mike Schultz Club against a very good right-hander in Luis Castillo. Don't let that record fool you. This guy can be awfully tough, and it was a year ago, the Hyundai pitch arsenal, September 11th of 2020, he came in here. And he was awesome. Pitched against the Cardinals through a complete game. We saw him begin the season on opening day in Cincinnati. The Cardinals got to him, but since that time, he's pitched much better.
I just can't. It's funny you said don't look at the record, but I can't even fathom that record for him. I just don't even understand it. But then you see him start off 2-0.
And a high fly ball opposite way off the bat of Edman to the wall and caught. Max Schrock crashing up against the wall in a nice play.
Man, that's a home run in almost every ballpark in America right there. That is robbed for Tommy Edman. This ball is crushed.
Max Schrock, we saw him primarily the infield with St. Louis, and then he was with the Cubs, and now Cincinnati. Around the Horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Kind of stretching his neck. And the first pitch to Paul Goldschmidt, taken for a ball. something that Castillo has. Good fastball with sink. And also a tremendous changeup. He idolized Pedro Martinez growing up. And the Reds had gotten to him to say, hey, let's throw a little bit more of the four-seamers. And he did that for a while, and then he said, not anymore. I'm going back to what I was doing that gave me success. Two-seamers, the run, the sink, and a changeup. Three balls and one strike. .175 career games as a Cardinal at Busch Stadium, and the numbers are gaudy for Goldie. That's taken low. Cardinals, by the way, since he arrived in St. Louis at home, are 25 games above 500. He's a big reason why. 35 home runs. He's driven in over 100. The 850 OPS. And a one-out walk, and it brings in Tyler O'Neill. Always mention the skill set of one Tyler O'Neill, the power and the speed. And he is a guy that has popped 25 home runs. He'll wind up with 10 or more stolen bases. And the last to do that for the Cardinals, Albert Pujols. The 1-0 pitch. O'Neill bounces it into a double play. India steps on the bag and turns two. We ended the second, and there's no score. Anniversary of 9/11. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny, a left wrist issue is keeping Edmundo Sosa out of the lineup again tonight. Sosa told me he feels like he's ready to go. Of course, that decision about his availability will be left up to the training staff. Sosa took ground balls before the game, took some swings during BP. Sosa told me, I felt really good with everything. I didn't feel any discomfort. It's just a matter of getting back to normal with my swing. I'm ready to go whenever my manager puts me in there. Danny Sosa jammed that wrist fielding a ground ball on Wednesday. Sosa says he's ready, but again, the trainers will make the final decision.
Home run number 325 last night for Votto, second most in Reds history. Passed a tie with Frank Robinson. And the 2-0 is taken for a strike. Johnny Bench, the all-time leader in home runs. First time since 17 that he's had 30 or more home runs. The shift is on for Votto. It's not only the power now, but you always think about the on-base percentage with Votto. The 2-1 pitch is hit out of play. Pretty incredible. And this adds to his resume when you think about, is he a Hall of Famer? The players that have had 325 home runs and an on-base percentage of .415 or better. Stan the Man, Bonds, Pujols, Votto. That's it. Cranks that one foul down the right field line. We're talking about one of the great hitters ever, and certainly of his era.
I think the one thing that's really going to hurt him is the back and forth that he went through for a couple of years after he signed his contract, where he had that on-base percentage, and then he hit some home runs, and then it went down, and then went back up, and then he didn't hit home runs, and there was that big deal about you're making X amount of dollars, you need to drive in more, hit more home runs, and he kind of just stayed in his own kind of groove. And you know, I think he played how he thought he could play, but watching him this year, he's got some stuff left in the tank, and it's probably always been there. He just elected to be a better hitter versus swinging and missing.
He had that crouched stance for a while. He was choking up even when there wasn't two strikes. Now he's at the end of the bat and more erect at the batter's box and just letting it rip.
Well, what surprises me too, because playing in Cincinnati for him is a little bit of a, you know, I mean, he could be a pull hitter. He could have always done that with 1 strike, 0 strikes. and then gone to the two-strike approach and still hit home runs in Cincinnati, being kind of short porch to right center, but the ball carries so well there. So I think, he probably hurt his own cause, but you can't blame someone for playing the game the way they played the game. And if they wanted to pay him all that money and then ask him to do something different, that's their situation. That's their fault.
Career year for Tyler Naquin, the former Cleveland Indian. Single season career highs in games, hits, doubles, homers. He's had a very good year. Runs batted in, and he's been all over the outfield for the Reds. I'm not sure where Cincinnati would be without this guy. He has had a heck of a year. Naquin with 19 home runs. He's driven in 70. Tonight, his 78th start in center. That's off the plate and high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Arenado well off the line, even with the bag. And right to him. Could be 2. The turn here by Tommy. It is. It's a double play. 5-4-3 on the double play, and both clubs have turned 2 tonight.
Tell you what, man, you look really good when you shift and the guy hits the ball right to you, don't you? I mean, this is tailor-made right here. Good pitch. Nice turn.
Mike Moustakas came off the bench last night.
It's the only thing I don't like about when they shift so hard that you take your one guy on the other side of the field and put him way over by second base. I always feel like there's a spot in there for the pitcher to make his pitch and jam somebody.
12-pitch inning following a 6-pitch first inning for Miles Michaelis. Players, as we pay tribute to those whose lives were lost on September 11th of 2001, honoring them with the pledge that we shall not forget. Nolan Arenado here in the home half of the second, and the first pitch taken for a strike.
That might be the first pitch strike so far tonight. I mean, he's only faced 3 guys, but still, that's one of the issues that he's been having. Reminds me of, I was telling you this story about, never mind, I'll tell you about it later. Kidding. Just gonna wait for this at bat to be over.
And a ground ball hit to his counterpart at third, Mike Moustakas. And Jimmy, the floor is yours. What do you got, Jimmy?
Well, it reminds me of a lot of the younger pitchers that have really good stuff. And what they do is they get in a rut of trying to be too nasty. And, he's still. And, he's only 28 still. I mean, he's had a lot of games under his belt, but every now and then you can get caught up in trying to be too good. And his stuff and I hate the way people say it nowadays, his stuff plays. So they say, you throw the sinker down the middle and let it do what it does. And you can see sometimes now it's like sinker's trying to be on the black and the slider's trying to be in the dirt. And it's just, it's a swing and miss game right now. And that can hurt a lot of guys like this with good stuff. Because your stuff is too good with movement and you moves off the plate.
Carlson with the ground out, and now Yadier Molina. A couple of hits last night, including a home run. Yadi now with 11 homers this year. Back-to-back games with a home run for Yadi. First time that has happened since August of 2019. And that pitch taken for a ball inside. So 2 outs and nobody on. A warm, muggy night here in St. Louis. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lean on a 4-game hitting streak, 6 for his last 15. Puts it in play, backhanded by Moustakas. Plenty of time to settle and throw. Cardinals go 1-2-3, 7-pitch inning for Castillo. Maybe it's a pitcher's duel here tonight. There's no score.
We stood united.
I don't know about you, but as for me, the question has already been answered. Should we be here? Yes.
"9/11, never forget."
Jack Buck addressing the home crowd. First game back at Busch. A World War II veteran, recipient of the Purple Heart. And at that point, battling the advanced stages of Parkinson's disease, and delivered a speech we will never forget and a poem. Barrero scored last night, had a couple of hits. Gets robbed again by Nolan Arenado.
Twinkle toes right there. See a lot of guys. See what he does right there. You expect him to whip around and fire a ball, and he kind of keeps his feet. Keeps his feet together and just stays up tall. And he knows that he can. He's done it so many times, Danny.
That's the All-State good hands play of the game so far.
And the good feet.
And when you spin like that, that also can. Sometimes you see with a fielder pull it one way or another on the throw, and he's done that a bunch, and it's something that he practices. Here is Tucker Barnhart. First pitch is strike. Both these guys, Castillo and so far Miles Michael, is pumping in strikes.
Not messing around, huh? Well, that's what I was going to say about the spin was, if you widen out your legs and you spin, it's a violent spin, and then you're either going to have to stop or really throw with some effort. And what he did was use short choppy steps to kind of slow his upper body down, and then he could see first base for a split second, throw it, and then keep spinning. When you get wide like that, you spin around and your feet hit the ground and your upper body's still moving. He did the opposite, which was pretty impressive to watch when you start thinking about it.
Shift on here with Barnhart, and just past Nolan Arenado, and a base hit into left. The first hit for the Reds tonight. Tucker Barnhart, and it brings in the pitcher, Castillo. Showing bunt, and both corners charging in this spot. We've seen it a bunch where Nolan Arenado will take that chance. It's bunted to him. He's going to second.
Well, especially with the catcher Barnhart running. You better get this ball and deaden it, because, I mean, where are you going to bunt this ball where those 3 guys, including Yachty, can't jump down your throat and throw it to second base? Look at this. They're coming.
And Goldie is only play to Tommy Edman at the bag at first. And the sacrifice is good as it goes 3-4. And the top of the lineup, and Jonathan India with the runner at second base. Cardinals Insider tomorrow will kick off our coverage of Cardinals baseball. Get to know TJ McFarland and so much more. Tomorrow at noon, it's Cardinals Insider.
I wouldn't have guessed that he was going to be able to lay down that good of a bunt. That was perfect.
Don't want to go to Arenado. Go to the first base line, and he was about 2 or 3 inches away from that. Here's India. Fly to center his first time up. India in this spot, 156, 7 for 45 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Tucker Barnhart, the runner at second base, with 2 away, 2 balls, no strikes. I'd say Miles looks a bit sharper here tonight. And we've seen signs of it. You might have an inning here or there where you look at some of the at-bats and the matchups that he's had where the sharpness is there, then it goes away. You have to remember he hasn't pitched in about 2 years. Getting back into the rhythm and healthy. Inside, and it's now a count of 3-1.
Hey, what other than that pitch right there, he's been pretty good early. He's been pretty much, you know, like, always just want to see if he's on the same side of the plate as a catcher. And you know he's kind of in good command with his body. It's when you start to see the ball fly all over the place, when you start to look for help.
Fly ball into center. Bader back at the wall, and it's 2-0 Cincinnati. India with home run number 20 here in his rookie campaign.
What? That's a long way for a leadoff hitter and second baseman. I see a lot of balls go up in that grass. It's like he was all over this curveball.
That's what I mean. At times it's sharp and you see it down or away, and other times it's got that big hump in it like that, and a base hit into center.
Well, the thing is, you know, it's the get me over. It's the behind in the count, the first pitch one. That's the one you have to hit. If you are going to look for a breaking ball, or if you're going to keep your eyes set out over the plate, you'll see the early breaking ball. It's the one that's with 2 strikes, and you saw that slider early on that was super sharp. Get away from that just because you don't want to throw a fastball first pitch thinking they're waiting for that. And then, you know, like I said, if you stay away, then you allow the team that's hitting to stay on most of your stuff. If you start to pitch in, they have to change that approach. And you can see they're just trying to swing at anything that's out over the plate.
They were aggressive early in their first pitch, second pitch swinging, and resulted in some quick outs, and now it's a 2-run deficit for St. Louis.
Well, and you know what, too, is you think about what they tried to do, ground balls. They tried to pull everything, tried to hit every ball in the air, and now all of a sudden you can see they're starting to stay on everything and looking out over the plate.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Part of making adjustments the second time through.
The old adjustment game, Jimmy. Sounds like baseball in a nutshell.
Pretty easy to do if you have a team that's focused on being a team and wanting to win.
That is hammered. Deep left, 4-0. Castellanos with home run number 28.
Just got up, and when you throw a breaking ball that jumps out of your hand and gets a big hump to it, the hitter can pick it up so quick. And even though it's off speed when they're looking fastball, their brain tells them instantly what it is. And even on the stride, if your hands stay back, you got plenty of time to react to that breaking ball.
Pitch taken high by Joey Votto. The way that the Cardinals offense is hit in this homestand, 4 runs seems like a bunch.
You know, it goes in spurts, huh? 4 runs didn't seem like much for a couple of months, and then 4 runs seemed like a lot for a couple of times, couple of months. So see if they can't get that offense rolling.
So Castellanos with a new career high in home runs with 28. Ball and 2 strikes on Joey Votto. Walked his first time up back in the second inning. Shift on the right side and a 1-2 pitch. And that is well hit. Right center. Bader is back and makes the catch. Oh, what a play. Bader in right center. Reaching up at the last moment, up against the wall. It's 4-0. St. Louis, 4-0 our score. Military Appreciation Day here at Busch Stadium. They're the home run hitters, India and Castellanos. And the first pitch is strike two, Paul DeYoung. 7, 8, and 9, DeYoung, Bader, and Michaelis. One and one the count. Paul is 8 for 32 in head-to-head matchups with this very tough righty when he is right. Well hit. Left center. Cardinals get on the board and a long one off the bat of Paul DeYoung. The Cardinals shortstop now with 17. And it's a 4-1 Cincinnati lead.
Good thing about when you do face a guy like Castillo is you know you're going to get some fastballs, and that's just a sinker right there that doesn't get down. You can see the catcher have to reach back over the plate. That is such great camera work right there when you see, like, it tells you, right? You see the catcher reach back and you know, and you see he doesn't reach back, he hits his spot, and look what happens. So you can get to know a lot about what's going on behind the plate. You just watch where the ball ends up versus where the catcher's sitting.
First home run since August 12th for the Cardinals shortstop.
Like so right there, huh? I mean, you even get a strike taken away just from missing your location sometimes.
His first run batted in nearly a month as well. Toyota key to the game with Jim Edmonds.
Well, we were just talking about it, Danny, and that's why I kind of thought about it earlier. Hit the fastball. Get a fastball early in the count and try to do some damage. He's going to make some mistakes eventually.
Hit the other way, and that's a base hit for Bader. Hustling out of the box and thinking two. On his way to second, sliding in. A home run and now a double. The second hit during the homestand for Harrison Bader.
Great job right there. This fastball, right? It doesn't have to be pound a fastball on the pull side up in the air. It means just swing at the fastball.
You're asking why he had the issues with the record. 3 different times he has had a game in which he has allowed 8 earned runs. So that's going to rise your ERA, and your record is going to suffer, obviously. And they try to get him to pitch up in the zone, and I can't for the life of me understand that with this kind of stuff that he has.
With all due respect, whoever said that probably should be fired. I mean, you can't take a guy that has this kind of stuff, who's been successful, and tell him to pitch up in the zone. How about this? Hey, when you get ahead, why don't you zoom some up and out over the plate or up in the top of the zone once in a while with 2 strikes. Good. Use your sinker early so you can get some ground balls, and if you need a strikeout, then go ahead and go up with the 4-seamer. But man, oh man, I'll tell you right now, I'd love to have this guy and be able to work with him and talk to him about just getting that sinker down and not making too much effort, and then all of a sudden pumping 100 miles an hour up all day long.
Bunted in the air, but foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if you're the Cardinals, you got Bader and good speed at second. You have got to find a way to get him in. Have to cut this lead to 4-2. They just have not been hitting all that much. That included last night. Really included the series with the Dodgers.
Yeah, these are, you've got to get these runs. Every run right now is so important. It's like kind of almost the playoff baseball atmosphere as far as everybody's dialing it up a little bit, and runs are hard to come by, and so get a chance.
Moustakis to India. The sacrifice will go 5-4. Well, next Saturday, It's the David Freese bobblehead of 2011, the World Series hero, and his teammates will be in town for the 2011 reunion. That's courtesy of Ameren, Missouri. Cardinals.com/promotions for tickets. Tommy Edman fly to deep left, first time up. 283 with runners in scoring position. Cardinals last night only 3 at-bats with runners in scoring position, and they left 6 on. Edman base hit into right. It's now a 4-2 game. Tommy drives in his 48th.
Take a look at it. Probably a changeup right here. Kind of got too much middle of the plate. But, Danny, it's interesting. This time of the year and during the regular season, you know, you have trouble getting runners over and getting runners in, and you lose the game, and nobody really says anything about it. You just come and get them tomorrow, and you see right there trying to get a changeup and stays on it. But if you do this stuff in the playoffs, you're done. And so add it up. Trouble scoring runs could keep you out of the playoffs, but it's not such a glaring statistic until the year's over.
Goldie on the homestand, 5 for 16. He could tie it up with one swing of the bat. Then pitch taken for his strike. 24 home runs this year. Snaps an 0 for 10 for Tommy Edman with runners in scoring position.
Might be able to get a chance to run here. His average times are right in about the 1.5, 1.4 to 1.6 is average.
I thought he might be going on the first pitch. Nothing in 2.
Pretty good swing right there, but that pitch is almost unhittable right there. In off the plate a little bit, down and running.
And the 0-2 pitch. Hit up the middle. India has it. And they'll turn 2. What a pick by Votto. It'll go 4-6-3 on the double play. India, Barrero, and the pick by Votto. The second double play turned by Cincinnati tonight. Nifty one here. Cardinals pick up 2. It's now a 4-2 game. Have to grab a $1 any size frozen beverage every game day. Valid April 1st through October 3rd. Every Cardinals home or away game. Tommy Edman with a base hit. Home run hit by DeYoung. And the Cincinnati lead now sits at 4-2. Fourth inning rolls in. Naquin, Moustakas, and Barrero. Hit the other way, but foul. Cardinals, when 9/11 happened, they were in Milwaukee. Obviously did not play that night. Drove back to St. Louis. Sports took about a week away. And we reconvened on that famous night here at Busch Stadium. Mets and Yankees playing tonight. And both teams wearing a first responder hat and caps from the fire department, police department, Port Authority Police Department. And Bobby Valentine will throw out the first pitch to Joe Torre. They were the managers 20 years ago. And both the teams with the players and the managers and front office personnel were helping with the cleanup. Shea Stadium was used as a site for cleanup. And who could forget the famous home run hit by Hall of Famer Mike Piazza in the first game back against the Atlanta Braves. One of the greatest baseball moments I've ever seen. First game back, first game played in New York, and Piazza late with a home run. And as you know, Jimmy, Shea Stadium literally could shake.
That place used to give me a
literally.
headache.
I loved it. And it would shake. I mean, it literally would shake in the press box.
You loved it. You were up here. I'm down there right in front of that speaker. It was like having one big Sonos speaker in the back of your head.
Loved it.
I loved it too, but it was loud out in center.
2-2. Naquin slaps it foul.
Now, I haven't asked you this yet, and I'm curious. I don't know if it's, I mean, it's not inappropriate, but were you awake?
I was woken up. I was woken up by a phone call from someone on our crew and said, "We aren't playing tonight." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Turn on your TV."
I was trying to remember if I had a cell phone at the time.
No.
What kind of cell phone it was.
And was at the team hotel.
Mike James and I had adjoining rooms, and we started screaming, "Wake up and turn on the TV!" And right in the middle of it, before the second plane hit, I was up and turned on the TV, and I just stood there in shock.
I was supposed to play golf with Jeff Murphy, the longtime bullpen catcher of the Cardinals, and Mike Shannon. And my back once a year locks up, and it happened to lock up on that day, so I couldn't go. And so I was woken up to that phone call, and unfortunately just in time to see the hit of the second tower. And that is out of play. And then, like everyone, just glued to my television the rest of the day.
All day. You know what was interesting? One of my buddies today texted me if I was watching what was going on, and I was at Landon's game bright and early this morning, and he said 20 years ago at this moment on the nose, the second, and it gave me the chills because that's basically as I was waking up, and all of everything of my memory was started right then, and it was interesting. So it's like, you know, you don't really think about a lot of things. Like, you come out here and you watch highlights and stuff, and that was kind of cool. And we talked about being a fan, and talk about just your life flashing in front of your eyes right then and there. Wow.
Obviously, sports can't replace what happened that day. However, baseball played a role in comfort, in coming back together, a diversion, hope, back to what we enjoy here in our country, a sense of normalcy with watching a major league game. 2-2 pitch, and a good battle here with Michaelis and Naquin.
I really think that
you may recall too, for the better part of that day, we had no idea, first of all, if we play that night. There was still some rumblings, you know, you might play, and then obviously canceled. And then it was a question of, let's get back to our loved ones. You know, let's get back home.
Yeah, the couple of days, huh? It felt like an eternity. What, 2 days?
A couple of days, I believe, because
in the bus
still we're not sure about whether or not there was going to be the resumption of sports. Now they're playing the Ascension Charity Classic at Norwood Hills, and if anybody has been to Norwood Hills, it's by Lambert International Airport. And if you ever go play out there, you're always going to see and hear the flights going overhead. It's constant in North County. There's Mike Moustakis. And the thing I remember vividly is getting back to town, did not have young kids to take care of, so I decided, well, I'm going to go play a little golf. So I went out to Norwood. And I'm out there, and the thing I remember, Jimmy, is just how quiet it was. I couldn't believe it. You always hear. It's kind of like when you're at Shea Stadium and you hear the planes going overhead. Well, there was nothing happening as all air travel obviously had been shut down, and we were waiting whether or not we would play baseball. The NFL then took the weekend off as well. That's a base hit for Moustakis against the ship. And Jack Buck in that famous night, should we be here? And the answer is yes.
I thought, what I was going to say earlier was, I thought, you know, there's been a couple of times we've been in really bad situations with being in the sport. And I thought the Darryl Kyle situation, I thought we came back too fast. And I think we kind of thought we would push through it, and it didn't work. I thought it was interesting how well baseball handled coming back from 9/11, and they kind of waited for people to speak up in the public and the masses before. It wasn't just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. They kind of waited, and they did a good job. And kind of like a big group effort to figure out what was the best way to handle this.
Well, also you had teams in New York, you know, from the situation of the Jets and the Giants in the NFL. You have college teams, Major League Baseball teams. There was just way more important things happening clearly in our country and obviously in that city as to whether or not we should be playing a sporting event. So put that on the back burner, regroup to an extent, and come back and try to finish out the season. Darryl Kyle, by the way, had pitched the night before on September 10th of 2001. 6 scoreless innings. 2 outs and a runner at first, and a big swing and a miss by Tucker Barnhart.
My uncle was working on Wall Street, and I talked to him, and I said the other day, I said, where were you? And he said, I'd rather not remember. That's all he said in a text. He was right there watching the whole thing from his office.
I've traveled when we were traveling with the club, and hopefully we'll get back to that at some point, but always make a point when we're in New York to face the Mets to go to the World Trade site. And it's emotional, there's no doubt. And it's emotional to see it, but also those that are around it, and some that had friends or family lost that are there every single day. They've made a museum, and I was there when they were putting it up and then when they finished it, and it's incredible. The photos, the personal videos, parts from the building. And the air out to right field. And backing up, Dylan Carlson, One World Trade Center. 20 years ago today, 9/11. This Patriot Day broadcast brought to you by USAA, proud supporter of the military community. Once again, those photos courtesy of our friend, longtime colleague Joe Mazzola, who was out on Art Hill, the sun setting here in St. Louis. Beautiful shots. Thank you to our first responders who put their lives on the line every single day. Tyler O'Neill, and the first pitch, a strike. O'Neill, Arenado, and Carlson. Off the plate, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Nasty right there. Get 2 sliders, you get 1 over the plate, you know you missed it. Get another one down and away, and you think, oh, I got myself a sinker right here. It comes away with a nasty changeup, looks just like a fastball. Another one.
A swing and a miss, and a strikeout of Tyler O'Neill. And the first for Castillo tonight.
I mean, look at this. I mean, this is just, like you said, Pedro Martinez has one really good changeup.
And yet he has allowed 6 home runs this year to the Cardinals. Another one tonight. Number 17 for Paul DeYoung. And here's Nolan Arenado. Arenado in a tough stretch, in particular here at home. 0 for his last 14 and 3 for his last 37 here at Busch Stadium. Rounded at third, Moustakas. And out number 2. 4-2 ball game with 2 outs here in the home half of the 4th. Cardinals beanie is coming up, and that will be on the 17th. 20,000 fans ages 16 and older take home their very own Cardinals beanie, courtesy of Brown and Crouppen. Cardinals.com/promotions for tickets. Corbin Burns is not allowed a hit through 7 innings against the Indians tonight.
I think he just walked somebody in the 7th to take away his perfect game.
There's the 0-1 pitch. That's what makes, again, Sunday so frustrating for the Cardinals this last weekend. Burns was out after 5, and the Cardinals had a fairly, what you thought would be a comfortable lead, and Vogelback hits the walk-off grand slam. The 1-1 pitch. 1-2. So through those 7 innings, he's had 103 pitches. We'll keep an eye on that.
He had 88 right in the middle of that, too, and didn't know if he was going to, they've been taking guys out. A lot of these teams in the front have been pulling their starters early, but what do you do when you got a perfect game going right here?
Oh, I think you stay with
it.
him.
Go as long as you can, I think.
Yep.
It's pretty special.
3-2 the count. Yadier Molina on deck.
See what I mean about the pitches, though? They're just a little bit beyond trying to be nasty. So 100-mile-an-hour sinker, but down. And the changeup is on the edge. And it's just like that right there. Yeah, of course he's going to swing once in a while, but that fastball is why they're swinging at the changeup.
2 strikeouts in the game, and they come in the bottom of the 4th. We move to the 5th. Cincinnati on top.
We haven't seen Genesis Cabrera in a game since Sunday, and there's a reason for that. Mike Schultz says Cabrera had been dealing with a fingernail issue on his pitching hand. It's apparently a recurring issue. Schultz says it's not super uncommon, and Waino has dealt with something similar. Schultz says the treatment took a couple of days to recover from, but Cabrera is back and available tonight. Danny, one other note. Jordan Hicks is driving to Jupiter as we speak. Mike Schultz says he's going there to throw to hitters. Schultz also said it was unlikely Jordan will be back with the big club this season.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Michael is pitching into the 5th. 4-2 our score in favor of the Reds. It's Castillo, India, and Max Schrock, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Reminder, we have day baseball tomorrow as the Reds and the Cardinals finish up their season series, Happ against Sonny Gray. And a strikeout for Michaelis, his first of the night. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. All 4 runs back in the 3rd scored with 2 outs and on 2-run homers. And Jonathan India, probably the leader in the clubhouse right now for Rookie of the Year with his 20th. And he's driven in 64. There's strike 1. First time since 2011 the Cardinals will not win the season series against Cincinnati. And the Cardinals 3-5 against the Reds at Busch Stadium this year. Every game decided by 3 runs or less. That's fouled back. Been one of the frustrating aspects. There's been a bunch of this season, but what the Cardinals have done inside the division. Good pitch in on his hands. 1-2 the count. The 1-2 pitch by Michaelis doesn't chase. 2-2. Lined into right center. Bader won't get there. And a base hit for India. He's 2 for 3. Get ready for discounted tickets in the stretch run. 8 gallons or more of gas at a participating station. Using the My Phillips 66 app, get up to 50% off Cardinal tickets. And for more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Here's Schrock, who is 1 for 2. Singled the center and scored. He has played well for the Reds in 13 starts, hitting above 400. That pitch taken inside. Schrock was part of the Steven Piscotty deal, along with Jairo Munoz, and Schrock was the one that kind of emerged as a guy that would stay in the minors, and Munoz was the guy that we saw in the majors.
I think that
this is into shallow center, catch made by Bader.
And I think that Schrock was like right there with Tommy. And Tommy kind of really took off. I don't know if it was exactly the same year, but then maybe the next year. But you could see Tommy kind of was one of those guys, and I feel like they were in the same spring training one year, and they were literally, Tommy just kind of took off, and Max just really didn't get that playing time that Tommy did because Tommy was playing so well at the time.
Tommy showed the ability to play shortstop at this level, and
yeah,
you do that.
Makes a difference. Yeah.
Yep. Gets you in front. Here's Nick Castellanos now with a career high 28 home runs. 2-run homer back in the third. He's driven in 81. 2 outs, runner at first, and that pitch off the plate.
Ain't that the truth, huh? Show me a guy that can play defense, and I'll show you a guy that can stay there. Shortstop especially. I'll show you a guy that can be around a little bit longer.
Center.
Yeah.
Another one. Emergency catcher.
Well, I think that the shortstop thing is good because, you know, you can't take a second baseman sometimes because of the arm and moving to short. It's hard for a third baseman with mobility. But if you are a utility guy that can play short, obviously you can play all the other positions. So, hence Tommy gets a chance because if anything ever happens to the shortstop, a lot easier to move your guy over to short and then bring somebody else up to play second base than it would be vice versa. The shortstop's a big position.
Good pitch, 2-1. Cardinals start play in the wild card 3 games back. Essentially, the Padres and Reds are tied for that second spot. Philly 3.5. The Mets 4 to start a play. Hit hard to short. DeYoung there, and a flip to Tommy Edman. Molina, DeYoung, Bader coming up.
United.
And please welcome the President of the United States.
Never forget.
Amazing moment before Game 3 of the World Series of 2001. President Bush, by the way, had been encouraged to throw out the first pitch of Game 1 in Arizona, but security purposes he declined, and then did it in New York and threw a strike. As Yachty pulls it foul. He had the FDNY sweater that you saw there, and that covered a bulletproof vest. Throws a strike, and the place just went bananas.
I think that when the time that he came here and threw out the first pitch, and I believe it is the opening day of 06?
04.
Are you sure it was 04?
Positive.
I thought it was the new stadium.
Bush Stadium 2.
Actually, I think you are right, because that picture I have of him. But I remember him underneath, and he went into a little, like into the bathroom or in the little room, and he came back out. And I said, everything all right? And he said, yeah, don't tell anybody, but I took off the bulletproof vest because he couldn't throw with it. And he had, I think it was obviously a little bit cold, and he said he had too much stuff on. It's pretty unique to be able to sit down there and just have a full-blown conversation with him because
you love baseball.
Well, he was down there so early. I don't know if you remember this, and that you're right, though.
it was in the old stadium because they made everyone leave the area because of you had to walk through that hallway to go from the locker room to the dugout. So they made everyone clear out completely because they couldn't.
Bomb sniffing dogs.
Well, and they couldn't control everyone, so they just made everyone stay away because there's so much traffic. And so I was just sitting down there.
Ground ball to third. Off the bat of Molina. Moustakas puts it away. Dan.
And I was down there. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were going somewhere. And took my stuff down there because they made us leave a little early, and I was putting on my shoes and just came and walked up and started talking to me. I literally sat there for 10 minutes talking to him one-on-one, and I had the most amazing picture. I'm sitting down, putting my shoes on. He's standing over me with his arm up, hanging onto the wall, and they snapped the photo and sent it to me. And I thought, wow, what a cool photo. But it was just so surreal to spend 5 or 10 minutes one-on-one just talking.
Yeah, that's the leader of the free world.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way at that point.
Off the plate, 2 balls, no strikes. Back in the third to Young with a home run. First since early August.
See Barnhart's glove right there in the second view where he just kind of turned it over and was like, oh, this location.
We had Bob Shepard introducing the longtime public address announcer at Yankee Stadium, the President of the United States, and George Bush came out and threw a strike. For those that don't know, Derek Jeter, he ran into Jeter and he said, don't throw it.
Don't bounce it.
Well, not only that, but don't throw it from the grass. Go to the top of the mound.
Go all the way back.
3-2. Bob Shepard was the PA at Yankee Stadium starting in 1951 and finished in 07.
The voice,
famous voice.
You can still hear that voice.
The 3-2 pitch. And DeYoung picks up a base hit. A single into right. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
Nice job of letting the ball get deep right there. What he did to get this hit was early on in the at-bat, he took a fastball inside that was close. It was actually pitch 4 in off the plate. And that enables him to get to this pitch right here, because if you swing at that pitch, sinker in off the plate, 2 strikes, you either obviously swing in this or you foul it off or you hit a ground ball that's unhittable in there. And then he gets a fastball out over the plate that he stays on. So it's a great approach he's got going so far tonight.
Harrison Bader with a double first time up to right, represents the tying run. And stays away from that slider for ball 1.
Sometimes hitting is all about what you can take, not about what you can hit. You have to take good pitches against good pitchers. You can't try to force swinging at their best pitch.
Matt Carpenter is moved to the on-deck circle. And it's his Cabrera throwing in the bullpen. 2 balls and no strikes.
That's nasty. That's a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. That kind of movement. Literally around the plate.
Michaelis had 72 pitches. Probably 2-pronged decision there where it's not going to go deep anyway, and you're trailing and you need offense.
Yeah, you have to get some offense going.
2-1. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
Once again, right there, good pitch. You have to be able to take it. Even if it's a strike, Danny, you can't swing at that pitch. Even if the umpire gives him a strike right there, you have to tip your hat or argue with the umpire that's not a strike. But you swing at it, you're done.
3-1 delivery and a ground ball foul. Full count on Bader.
But you know what? That's the one you got to hit. You can't miss that one.
Phillies with a 5-1 lead against Colorado. That's in the bottom of the 7th. Phillies half game behind St. Louis. Mets trailing 4-0 against the Yankees. That's in the top of the 2nd. 3-2 pitch. And another 3-2 pitch to the Cardinals center fielder. Giants win again. They're now 92-50. They lead by 3 games in the National League West. They're 5-0 on their current road trip. Didn't see that one coming. And a 3-2 again. Swinging bunt, base hit for Bader. His second infield hit in this series against the Reds. And now it's runners at first and second for the Cardinals with 1 down. Well, he battled and he's 2 for 2.
Because he battled, that's what you get. Got to battle. You've got to take good pitches. It's 2 days in a row for that, isn't it?
So a second infield hit in the series and his 3rd on this homestand. It's been a tough go for Matt Carpenter since the All-Star break, 5 for 50. And 0 for his last 27.
Well, he needs a moment, and so does the club. I'm not kidding. It's a big game right here. It's a big swing.
Runners at first and second. First pitch to Carpenter is taken for a ball. Bader at first, DeYoung at second. So Bader now with 15 infield hits this year. The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Tommy Edman on deck. So that'll be it for Michaelis. Gives up a pair of 2-run homers and leaves after 5 innings. 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. The 2-0 is hit to Votto. Sharply out there, back to the bag at first. It's misplayed, and a run will score to cut the lead to 4-3. Right in the glove of Castillo. Couldn't come up with it, and it's a 4-3 ball game.
I don't know if I saw what I think I saw, but it almost looked like he stretched for no reason. Instead of just catching the ball, he tried to do a little extra, and he just just didn't go get the ball. Yeah, see how he kind of got there a little bit early, but watch where he strides. Instead of slowing down, it looks like he's trying to stretch to the ball a little bit. See that? Right there at the end? That's just not necessary. And it's interesting how I keep telling you all the time how the big leagues, the plays in the big leagues, same things happen in the little leagues.
Well, the umpires here have come together, and they're on the horn, and checking with New York, and my only guess would be the runner at first impeding that throw potentially on the turn on the double play. So Bader is your runner at first. Never touched second base, but they recorded the out. It's got to be an effort made to touch the bag. For me, that would be the only thing that they're looking at.
For sure. But what I was saying was we could get this in before.
Well, there's a slide rule that is a manager challenge. That is a reviewable play. The on-field crew has to determine the slide and if there's an attempt to get to the bag.
It really wasn't dangerous or anything harmful, but you're right. He didn't go at the bag. He stayed, looked like he just didn't veer back to the left. And even before the slide rule, you have to be able to touch the bag with your hand or your foot. And right there, he might have been out back in the day. And he didn't even run into him.
Corbin Burns, by the way, with 14 strikeouts and trying to pick up the 9th no-hitter this year. And he's going to the 9th, and here's the call. Out. It's a double play.
The President of the United States has said it is time to go back to work.
It is goosebumps at the Metrodome as baseball begins again. 3-0 pitch. Swing and a high drive. It is gone! Sosa hits it into the basket, and he's got Old Glory too.
Please welcome the President of the United States.
9/11. Never forget.
Busch Stadium, the scene on this Saturday night, 20 years after 9/11/2001. Genesis Cabrera, the new pitcher, in to face Joey Votto, and the first pitch taken for his strike. This would be interesting with Cabrera. I'm sure he's amped up, he's rested, ready to roll. We know he's got a big arm. It's our Chevy Cole to the pen.
Yeah, about a couple months ago, this might be a scary at bat, but I think he's really honed in his strike zone a lot better than early on this year. And I think he's maybe taken a little off or paying more attention to the strike zone than he was early on, just overthrowing.
Interesting ruling on that play with Bader, so he never made an attempt to slide to the base. So even if he would have just reached towards the base and towards the bag, I think we're still playing in the bottom of the fifth, because you have to make an attempt to get to the bag.
Well, the funny thing is, in the first shot, I thought he wasn't going to make it to the bag, but yet he was so far to the right, he was still going to get called out. But then he kind of slid to the bag, but not in the direction of the bag. So for sure, like you said, he's going to be out. Little effort, just a little effort.
So all you got to do is just reach towards it, and you're all right. And he never did, so the call became fairly simple for the umpiring crew in New York. And a wise challenge by Cincinnati, and it keeps it a 4-2 Reds lead. Cabrera's 12th appearance this year when pitching on 5 days rest. And in those games, those 12 games with all that rest, a 1.29 ERA. 0-1 pitch now to Tyler Naquin. He is 0 for 3 against Genesis Cabrera. Tonight 0 for 2. Grounded into a double play and flied to left. So They have a switch hitter and a lefty on their bench, and then 4 right-handed bats. As David Bell had lined up 3 lefties in a row. Votto, Naquin, Moustakas, so pretty easy move if you're Schilt to say, okay, you're at 5 innings, we're going to pinch hit anyway, and you're bringing a lefty.
Pinch hit anyway. You don't usually see a manager do that, but I'll tell you what, normally you try Moustakas and Votto, you don't have to really worry about a left-hander too much with those 2 guys. But yeah, you don't really see a manager allow 3 lefties in a row in this day and age, because you always have a lefty specialist down there. And nowadays they're throwing 100.
And a 1-2 pitch.
Talk about in the last 10 years, Danny, lefty specialists went from throwing 86 to 82 to 89 to now they're throwing 92 to 99.
I got to wonder, in watching Adam Wainwright, John Lester, is 90, 91, 92 the new 100? I mean, they're the anti-21 pitcher. Now, they're still throwing hard enough, but they locate, they move it. And I'm not saying that 100 with movement and location isn't good. It's great.
You got to throw strikes, though.
But these guys don't see it. I mean, the young players that are coming up today are the guys that you see that are being shown at some showcase that could run, throw, hit, launch, hit for power. But do they know how to play the game? And are they seeing guys that have it down to a science like an Adam Wainwright? Well, and the answer is no.
But you look back at Terry Wood and Mark Pryor, and who did you worry about all the time? You're still worried about Greg Maddux. And he was throwing 86 to 90 at the most. And he was getting everyone out.
Well, Kyle Hendricks
now. Kyle Hendricks has an exceptional changeup and a sneaky little fastball, but Greg Maddux, everything kind of was the same speed. It just moved all over the place. And it was like, you knew the timing was perfect every time, but you had to make sure that, that ball came out of his hand in the right spot, or you were in trouble, because you could time everything. But was it going to go right? Was it going to go left? Was it going to go up? Was it going to go down?
But you know what I'm saying about now? I mean, these young players, so
they're not used to it.
Waino's been in the league almost 2 decades. I mean,
it's almost to the
some
point
of these
where
guys were 10 years old and playing, and then signed when they're 18 and 19 and 20 and 21, and he has perfected the craft and not throwing hard, where all those guys are seeing hard, and they're being asked to hit home runs and launch angle.
Well, it's almost as a little bit of a joke to where it's almost it's below the hitting speed nowadays. But that was the norm, and they've learned how to pitch. And you can see too, like we talked about the other night, sometimes the teams just don't make adjustments during the course of the game. Offenses don't make adjustments. They get locked into a game plan, or they get locked into watching the last start. And if you're a good starter, you change up once in a while. You can lock players up for 4, 5, 6 innings easily just by doing something different.
And the 1-1 pitch. Get out of play by Moustakas, who has had his issues with these lefties. Tonight he is 1 for 2, grounded out to second, and a base hit to right. Two and 2. Cardinals have the top of the lineup coming up, and they've hit into 3 double plays tonight. The Reds with a pair of 2-run homers, both coming with 2 outs in the same inning back in the 3rd. So Corbin Burnes was at 115 pitches and lifted after 8 with a no-hitter. Josh Hader is in to pitch and finish it off. The 2-2. Grounded to Edman, charging on the play, off balance throw, had a long long way to come in as he was in shallow right. 4-2 our score. Sonny Gray going for the Reds, 7-6. Jay Happ for the Cardinals, and we'll come your way 12:30 on Valley Sports Midwest. The Budweiser once on tap, bottom of the 6th, rolls in. And the Cardinals have Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill. Castillo is allowed a couple of runs on 5 hits. And that pitch taken for a ball. Reds have out hit the Cardinals 6-5 and lead the ball game 4-2. Edman 1 for 2 with an RBI single to right and a fly ball into shallow left. Late break. That'll be caught with a diving catch made by Max Schrock. Again, an infielder that you have trying to get some playing time in the outfield. Took him a while to get a jump on it. When he finally did, he made the play.
A long run right here. You can see he's kind of stuck out there going back that took him a long time to get going. And that's that big swing. Sometimes you see that guy, you know, especially when you're not used to being out there. You see those guys take a big swing, man. You're so afraid to get beat. You just want to go back first. It takes a long time to. It's a weird timing with everything when you're out there. It's the swing, the trajectory of the ball, and the noise all at the same time. If you've done it long enough, it's instant, right? Even in a crowd, you can hear that noise. And you can kind of recognize the angle. It's almost like launch angle, right? You see it. But if you don't go out there enough and you just see a big swing and the ball go up, it's panic time and back.
Oh, 2 pitch and a strikeout of Goldie. 3rd strikeout for the right-hander of the Reds. And it brings in Tyler O'Neill. Josh Hader gets the final out, and the Brewers have themselves a combined no-hitter. Corbin Burns went 8, struck out 14. Hader got the final 3. It's the second no-hitter in Brewers history. The first was all the way back in 1987. Juan Nieves was on the mound for Milwaukee. I believe that's the second time that, if not the third, that Cleveland has been no-hit this year, and that's the 9th in Major League Baseball, which does not include the 7-inning scoreless and also no-hit innings Madison Bumgarner put up. O'Neill swinging bunt, hustling down the line. Castillo's throw is not in time. Oh, they call him out. And the Cardinals obviously will take a look at this.
The dugout scattering over there in St. Louis. Ollie not only jumps off his seat. I didn't think that was even close, to be honest with you. Not only does Ollie jump out of his seat to go get to the phone, guys get out of his way. They're like, go get it, go get it. I thought this looked pretty clear from the eye, but I tell you what, as always, umpires are in really good position, but every now and then the play can cause you to be in a bad position, and he was just a little bit behind the play. And
they showed the replay to the folks here at the ballpark, so Tyler O'Neill will have the Cardinals' second infield hit as St. Louis does challenge. It's the second challenge in this ball game. The first was sliding to the bases on a double play attempt. And if a runner does not engage in what they call a bona fide slide and attempts to make contact with a fielder, then you're out. And that's what happened with Bader. So O'Neill, they're going to overturn that call. Good challenge by St. Louis. A 2-out hit, and it extends the inning to Nolan Arenado, who flat out is due here at home and due for his 30th home run. And if he would do that, he would tie the game.
The due factor?
You got it. Nolan twice has grounded out to third. 2 outs and a runner at first. A 1 pitch to Nolan Arenado.
That's a good take right there.
It is the 3rd time that Cleveland has been no hit. Zach Plesac has been the Cleveland starter for all 3 games.
Got to be kidding. That's another record in itself, huh?
Has to be.
How about that run support? Holy cow. I'm going to have to tune into MLB Tonight to hear what Dan has to say about that. Little
Zach's
family
uncle.
love.
So 2 outs and the runner at first. 2 balls, 1 strike on Nolan Arenado. Here it comes.
Changeup is deadly. I think that changeup, not only is it really good, it's really tough on right-handers because it's not only off speed and it looks like the fastball, but it's diving down and in, where that's really hard to make an adjustment. As a lefty, you can kind of flip the bat upward. As a righty, you have to pull down on top of it, and really you're just swinging over the top of it, either pulling it off your feet or you're missing it.
The 2-2.
Like so.
The 2-2 pitch. Old foul and into the Reds dugout. Still throwing hard. That pitch at 98. Good movement in on the hands of Nolan Arenado. In the home half of the 6th, Cardinals trailing 4-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2-run deficit with 2 outs. The 2-2. Full count. Dylan Carlson on deck. O'Neill will get started on this next pitch. The 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. The next to Arenado. Pulled fair down into the corner. O'Neill was off with a pitch. He's racing to third. He'll score easily. Arenado on his way to second. Now to third. Misplayed out in left. And he's safe. It's now a 4-3 game.
Gosh, I love when that happens when you're the offense. Scored a ball down in the corner. Usually the road team, it doesn't matter where you're at. They run down in the corner and something weird happens and everybody keeps running. Great job by Nolan right here. He stayed with the changeup, battled. I don't know if he's going to throw Tyler O'Neill out here at all. Nope, when that ball squirts down into that corner.
Again, you've got an infielder essentially playing left field, and that's Schrock, and so that allows Arenado to go to third.
I think a veteran outfielder right there just lets that ball bounce off.
Sure.
Here's the thing you need to know as an outfielder. It's a double no matter what. So just wait for the ball to squirt out. It's not going to be a triple until you misplay it. But the panic of a guy running around the bases scoring turns the heat up a little bit. Instead of just conceding everything, you go in there and make a mistake.
So no error on the play. Ruled a triple for Nolan Arenado. His 3rd triple of the season, and the most since having 7 back in 2017. He's got 30 in his career.
Cardinals get that big 2-out hit. How about one more to tie it up? If not, take the lead. Also a lot of pressure on Tucker Barnhart, especially with that sinker, at times a slider. He tries to overcook it. Wild pitch, change up. 2 outs, runner at third. And Carlson looks at a ball low. Dillon tonight has grounded out to first and struck out.
Really have to stay patient here. You just need a jam shot single. You don't have to do damage. Take what he gives you. We're trying to look for a fastball away if it's me, so you can stay on this changeup right here. Just trying to hit something in the left center field gap.
The 1-0.
Good idea. See the difference if you start thinking that way and you see that swing. My philosophy behind that is I would rather see that swing where it's late and inside out and a foul ball than try to be over aggressive in that ball. What happens if you try to be too much? Ground ball to second base and you're out. Take foul balls all day long trying to stay inside the ball. It's just going to keep pounding changeups here. Just stay with one.
The 1-1. Carlson, a little flare, out to shallow center, tough play, that will drop. This game is tied. Dillon on his way to second. Coming in was Naquin. And a collision out in shallow center, and 2 Reds are down. It winds up being a double, and this game is tied up at 4-4. Barrero there, the shortstop, and Naquin, the center fielder, coming in. A round of applause as both players are at least somewhat up.
That's all you can hope for right there. Just make sure they're not hurt. I think right here, just really his center fielder is just so deep. Look how deep he is. And then the shortstop, young man going after the ball, not hearing anything.
Ouch. Both players now up on their feet.
Tell you what, that's very fortunate that kind of got it in the chest, but as long as he didn't get it in the head.
Well, he may have when Naquin went back on the back of his head and hit the ground.
The only way you can stop that is you can either just call it the whole way or you just stay away if you're the center fielder. It's just so deep.
Yeah, he's going to come out of this game. Great effort. Ball drops in, and with that, we're tied up at 4-4 on the RBI double for Dylan Carlson to score Nolan Arenado. Both runs have been scored now with 2 outs.
Hope his ribs are okay.
You have Akiyama, a natural center fielder, on their bench. We'll see what direction David Bell wants to go.
It's got to be a tough move for a manager right here to be clear and level-headed while walking your injured player in there to make a replacement. This doesn't pop right out of your brain.
Well, we await the defensive change. That'll be Shogo Akiyama now going into center. Quick word from Great Southern Bank.
We put our customers first, and they returned the favor. Forbes ranked us the #1 bank in the United States, according to our customers. If you're ready for award-winning support, stop by anytime.
Akiyama in center. Lucas Sims, we saw him last night. He was terrific for the Reds. Right-hander getting loose in the Reds bullpen. He pitched the 7th inning and struck out the side last night. Here's Yadier Molina with the go-ahead run in scoring position. Yadi is 0 for 2. And it's hit sharply and backhanded by Moustakas. 3 times he has grounded out to Mike Moustakas, who comes up with a dandy. The Cardinals get a pair of 2-out RBIs and tie it up. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Second inning of work for Genesis Cabrera, 7, 8, and 9. Guerrero, Barnhart, and the pitcher spot due up for Cincinnati. And the first pitch is strike. Reds went 1-2-3 in the 6th with Genesis Cabrera on the mound. Cardinals have tied it up, trailing at 1.40, now 4-4. And time is called. The 0-1. St. Louis will have DeYoung, Bader, and then Cabrera's spot, 7, 8, 9 in their lineup in the home half of the 7th. Game number 141 tonight. That's it out of play. $33,404 here tonight at the ballpark. Cardinals wrap up the homestand tomorrow. And the 1-2 pitch by Cabrera. Swing and a miss and a strikeout blocked by Yadi. And that's now 4 in a row for Genesis Cabrera coming out of the pen. Good job by Yadi to keep this in front. That is textbook right there.
That's beyond. It's hard to keep that ball right there in front of you. It's an art to knowing which way the ball is going to bounce off the spin and then turning your chest against it.
Barnhart singled to left and scored. The 2-run homer by India back in the 3rd. And is flied out to right. If you're just joining us, Reds a 4-0 lead with a pair of 2-out 2-run homers, India and Castellanos. Cardinals have come back. DeYoung with a home run tonight. There's strike 1. Also a 2-out, rather just the single to right by Tommy Edman that brought in Harrison Bader. Got the lead to 4-2. We thought it was 4-3. Play was overturned, turned into a double play on a slide ruling at second base. And the Cardinals picked up a pair in the bottom of the 6th. That's fouled back. 0-2. Castillo is at the on-deck circle.
Lefties take some good cuts against left-handed pitching, but nothing really to show for it with the splits like you were talking about. It's like good battles, but then get put away.
Castillo is at 84 pitches. He waits on deck, and an 0-2 pitch with one out and nobody on to Tucker Barnhart. Phillies 6-1 leading the Rockies as they head to the ninth. Yankees lead the Mets 5-4. That's in the third. Broke his bat, slowly hit to first. Goldie, Cabrera, 2 away. So Castillo will hit for himself. StubHub proud to be an official partner of the Cardinals this year. Plans change. You can easily list your tickets with StubHub. Even use your free seller toolkit. Help manage the price of your tickets. Download the StubHub app today. Castillo sacrificed in the third, struck out in the fifth.
This is one of those spots where Barnhart gets on, or there's one out and a runner on somewhere, you're probably going to hit. In a tie game, you got a
slicing foul.
Pretty good arm on the mound, and like you said, only 83 pitches so far, right? And I don't know if there's really a whole lot better down there early on. And you don't want to go to your last 2 setup / closer guys yet.
So Givens last night, he's their closer. Sims,
you guys are electric too, weren't they?
Very good last night. Sims, as I mentioned, struck out the side. That's it out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Michael Lorenzen pitched in the 8th. He had a scoreless 8th in game 1.
I feel like the Dodgers were here so long that the first game with Cincinnati didn't even exist. Like this was the first night. I feel like a Dodger flashbacks every day.
They are just underway with San Diego out west. The Dodgers and the Padres. The 0-2 pitch fouled back. Walker Buehler making that start for LA, and he might be the leader for the Cy Young in the National League.
Got to believe that Adam Wainwright will get some votes.
We should. Still time to go. And the 0-2 pitch, foul ball. It's in the top 5 or top 10 of most categories. There's one winner ahead of him in terms of wins. He's at 15. He's one of 10 sub-3 ERA right now in the National League. Second in innings pitched. And his success could coincide with the Cardinals going into postseason play, and that could be a factor as well. Slowly hit up the middle. And DeYoung is there and makes the play. 6 up, 6 down. Genesis Cabrera. Time to stretch on this Saturday night, 4-4. Of the Cardinals by Simon Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer close to home. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Tied at 4 in the home half of the 7th. Here in St. Louis and Busch Stadium. Paul DeYoung is 2 for 2, and he'll lead it off for the Cardinals 7, 8, and 9. It was back in the 3rd. This home run for DeYoung, his first since early August. Solo shot number 17. He's driven in 41. Also single to right back in the 5th. And this is our Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Line on Castillo. 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Walked 1, struck out 3.
What does this tell you right here with David Bell leaving Castillo in the game for one, and then especially DeYoung 2 for 2
with 2 good swings? So confidence maybe in your pitcher?
We're thinking maybe it gets tight late and you're saving Sims, you're saving the others that we talked about. What about the confidence that he has in other relievers? Something to think about too.
Well, and then also pretty clear that Holly's been sitting on that fastball, so I mean, you can make an adjustment as a pitcher just like you can as a hitter. You don't have to throw a fastball all the time, or use it to your advantage by trying to get him to chase it.
Shift on the left side and a 1-1. Pulled foul. Better swings tonight for sure.
Yeah, his balance and his timing has been better, but it's been a few days in a row now back into the swing of things, and you know he can hit. So you can, I feel like the problem is it's hard to switch and change during the season, and when you get into a funk, it's hard to get out, and then all of a sudden you get pulled out of the lineup for a couple of weeks, and then I mean you can work in BP and you can work before the game, but then you have to see live pitching again.
Nothing substitutes.
No. And it's not about the pitching he's seeing, it's more than just the timing of your, the rhythm of your swing, and with the 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Hit to short and the first out. 5th annual Margaritaville night at Busch Stadium is coming up. That'll be next Friday. Purchase of a special themed ticket. Receive a Margaritaville expired jersey. Also pregame concert tickets at cardinals.com/theme. Here's Harrison Bader. Doubled to right and scored in the 3rd. Infield hit in the 5th. Fouled back for strike 1. Alex Reyes is throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. And the 0-1. Nothing in 2. Lars Newbar has moved to the on-deck circle. Lucas Sims back up and throwing in the Cincinnati pen. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Bader. Two and 2.
Alex Reyes comes into the game tonight. This will be his 5th time this week. Well, in the last 7 days, so he's been getting a lot of work after struggling a little bit. But that's another thing. That's what you need, right? How do you get through the funk? You got to have playing time. Hard for relievers to make adjustments 1 inning at a time. You got to get multiple innings, and why starters can make such great adjustments between starts with a bullpen, or during the game you can make adjustments when something's not going right.
Well, we know his stuff is electric. However, do you want him coming in a 4-4 game late? Would you rather him bridge the gap like they've been using him? Tied him up in a strikeout. That's the 4th tonight for Castillo, and it brings in Newbar.
This is that pitch we're talking about. It's one you almost have to take. Well, the problem is, Danny, is you have Gallegos 2 out of the last 3, Garcia 2 out of the last 2, Farland 2 out of the last 2.
Starting to add up. I know that Reyes has thrown a couple of times, but he's had a day off in between his last 2 outings. So I don't know.
I'm still that firm believer. If you're going to win, you got to win with everyone. Yeah, there's probably scary to watch a certain guy go out there at certain times when he's struggling, but you got to have that confidence in your players, and there's no reason for people to be here if you can't use them.
Back-to-back changeups there on Newbar. Nothing in 2.
Yeah, he's really taking advantage of that changeup. He is really perfecting it the last couple innings.
Reds will have the top of their lineup coming up in the 8th. Shift on the right side for Lars Newbar, and an 0-2 pitch. Fastball high.
That's the other thing. We've watched Castillo basically go from throwing his changeup all over the place to now in the last couple innings has it nailed down. So the adjustment has been made. Such a hard changeup too. 92. I feel like when I was playing changeups were about 81, 84 the most.
The 2-2 pitch. From 0-2 to a full count. Tommy Edman on deck. Genesis Cabrera matches season high 2 scoreless innings. 5th time he's done that to keep this ball game tied at 4. Got him. Strikeout of Newbar. Castillo will end his night with 5 Ks in a 4-4 game.
Midwest Studios. Coming up after the game, we'll have Cardinals Live. Ricky Horton will join us. We'll break down Miles Michaelis' start, and we'll also see Paul DeYoung powering up tonight against the Reds. It's all coming up on Cardinals Live following tonight's game as we get it back to Bush, to Danny and Jim.
All right, Scotty, thank you. Alex Reyes into the ball game in our Chevy call to the pen. We're tied 4-4 in game 2 of this series. 8th inning rolls in. So Tommy Edman, Goldie O'Neill looking ahead to the Cardinals half of the 8th. Here for Cincinnati, the top of their lineup: India, Schrock, and Castellanos.
Danny, back to Reyes. How good has he been this year so far? In his last 15 games, he has almost a 7 ERA, and his ERA on the year is only 3.
And when you're a closer, it's magnified.
Oh, yes.
Losses come at tough times, and he's had his fair share this year. A 1 pitch. Up and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jonathan India's fly to center. 2-hit night. 2-run homer in the 3rd and a base hit to center. The fly ball lifted out to right field. Carlson is there on the edge of the track to make the catch. While we have a moment, quick word from Ryan Kelly. Come on in, Ryan.
The only thing faster than the supersonic golf cart is the 21-day closing guarantee. Only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
All right. Thank you, Ryan Kelly. Here is Max Schrock. 1 for 3. Base hit to center and a run scored. Cabrera was outstanding. After 5 innings from Michaelis, it was 6 up, 6 down. Mixed in a strikeout. Reyes is in your 9th position in the Cardinal lineup. This could be a multi-inning appearance. We'll see. Good pitch. 0-2.
A big old breaker right there. And I think that's what he needs too. Multi-inning appearances. He needs to go out there, and if something isn't working, try to figure out how to get it to work.
And the 0-2 pitch. The 1-2. Got him. Oh. Strikeout for Reyes. He's got the first 2.
Pretty good changeup in his own right there. And that's the thing he's been struggling with a little bit, is just the strike zone with all of his pitches. Can't just be the fastball that can get you through a hitter. It's got to be everything. And what happens is you throw a curveball and then a slider. Most guys are going to look towards the fastball as that 3rd pitch, and if you can throw something else, you're going to see that kind of result right there.
Castellanos 3 for 5 in the head-to-head matchups with Reyes. He is homered tonight. His 28th of the year. Shift on the left side of the infield. First pitch to him is taken for a ball. Joey Votto on deck. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, a lot of relievers use that fastball as a show pitch. You know, they'll throw it off the plate, but hittable, but looking good, but not good, and then can come back with pitches like that.
Two balls and a strike.
This is that big pitch right here where it's been a little bit of troublesome for him. Staying away from the fastball. It's a dead red count.
Be careful with this pitch on 3-1, obviously.
He's going to get another changeup right here. Why not? Maybe a slider. Yeah.
And he walked him. So a 2-out walk to Castellanos. And the batter will be Joey Votto. 0 for 2 tonight. Fly to deep center. Flied out to left and walked in the second. Runner at first and 2 down. Votto is 2 for 5 with a walk against Alex Reyes. Left-handers hitting just 148 against Alex this year. Lucas Sims, who struck out the side in the 7th of Game 1, getting loose in the Reds' pen. Shift on the right side of the infield. First pitch to him is swung on and missed. Arenado basically at short, outfield deep, straight away.
Arenado deep short.
The 0-1. Skied into shallow center. Coming on, Harrison Bader. Under it, has it. 4-4. We go to the home half of the 8th. Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, and Tyler O'Neill. The game summary. Miles Michaelis went 5, gave up a pair of 2-run homers with 2 outs. It was in the 3rd. Made it 4-0. Then DeYoung went deep for the 17th time. Arenado with 2 outs, this triple. And then eventually came around to score on a bloop double by Dylan Carlson. We're tied 4-4. Castillo goes 7. Castellanos, his 28th home run, a career high. Michaelis 5. And Paul DeYoung 2 for 3 with a solo home run and a single. Lucas Sims and the Chevy called to the pen. The scoreless 7th inning last night, striking out the side in 14 pitches. And he'll get Edman, Goldie, and O'Neill, the top of the St. Louis lineup.
This is where you want to be.
First pitch to Tommy Edman. Popped up left side, and that'll drop foul and out of play. The Reds in the 9th will have Akiyama, Moustakas, and Barrero. Nobody throwing for the Cardinals in the bullpen. Tommy hit one to deep left first time up. That was caught by Max Schrock. RBI single to right and fly to left.
I don't know if Tommy could hit that ball any better to left center field than he did tonight. I believe that ball is out of a lot of ballparks.
Breaking ball and a strike, 0-2. Tommy 2 for 7 with a double against this righty.
9 ballparks to be exact, as it says in the StatCast era.
0-2 pitch. Tried to get that fastball by him. He was ready for it. Popped it foul.
know why, but I love these relievers that come in and just air it out. You can hear them grunting and screaming and yelling. Go with that's probably max effort. What do you think?
In the world did that not hit him?
Even the breaking ball's max effort.
Giovanni Gallegos has just gotten up. So you got to think if it's a save situation, he's coming in, or maybe even in the top of the ninth in a tied game, he may be coming in. And the Cardinals, I think they want to review it to see whether or not that hit him.
Well, I'll tell you what. You got
Tommy didn't sell it.
You got to limp a little bit, don't you?
Watching that replay, it looked awfully close like it did. And Mike Schultz says, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Have you ever seen anything like that? You got to leave. It hits you.
Does the ball change directions here?
It hit him.
Sure did. It hit the tip. His tippy toes there.
What is he doing? He hasn't played enough years to learn how to fake it yet, huh?
Well, maybe he never even felt it. Who knows?
You feel it, trust me.
I would assume you do.
That ball bounces next to your foot, you feel it. I can't believe that.
I would think, though, it's so close, and with him not selling it, might be tough for them to overturn this. However, they can enhance the video in New York.
Oh, it hit him. Well, what actually is interesting, because it is a breaking ball, and what we were talking about earlier, the breaking ball is going to bounce to the right. So they might take that in consideration because he didn't move. I think he leans over and says, yeah, that really did hit me. Sorry.
And he has been awarded. Nope, they're going to call that ball, so he stays there.
Never seen that call for going backwards. Umpire was like, and you will stay right there.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2.
Hey, Danny, that's got to be a fine in Kangaroo Court. I mean, it has to be a fine. You just got the manager. You just showed up your manager.
Well, if you hop around, you're going to get it, I would think.
If you hop around, they might not even check it.
Inside 3 and 2.
He was letting it fly, isn't he?
Here, Glutton.
Oh, sounds like Nolan Ryan out there.
And the 3-2 pitch. Got him. A strikeout of Tommy Edman.
What a pitch. This is just all about thinking that the young man at the plate doesn't think you're going to walk him, and Tommy bites on that breaking ball.
Goldie walked in the first, grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in the third, struck out in the sixth. Looking for his 25th home run. It's a fastball taken just low and outside for ball 1. Outfield deep for the Cardinal first baseman. One ball and 1 strike.
How is this guy's ERA 4? It's crazy, isn't it?
Watching him last night and again tonight, yeah, it is. Ooh, what a cut. 2 and 2.
39 innings pitched this year, though, so that doesn't take long to bump up the ERA if you have one bad night.
He's got that short arm swing, kind of like Alex Reyes. Gets on the hitter in a hurry. Much of the delivery, it's similar to that of Reyes. And that's a base hit into left center. Goldie, extra bases. On his way to second base. And the Cardinals have the potential go-ahead running scoring position.
That's the second time in the last couple days he's hit a fastball that's up by his chest. He'll be ready to hit a fastball, and he definitely is that. Get on top of it with his hands. It's a great swing.
Via player profile, a look at Tyler O'Neill, the hard hit percentage. Tatis at the top, and then Tyler O'Neill. Bounced into a double play in the first. Reds have turned 3. He struck out, and an infield hit and a run scored in the 6th. Arenado is on deck. Goldschmidt, your runner at second base. Get word from the Reds. Tyler Naquin leaves the ball game with bruised ribs.
Like I said, he's lucky. I mean, not to make light of the ribs, but very lucky that he didn't get a knee to the head right there. And that is really good news. Hopefully the ribs will heal quickly.
Off the end of the bat, that'll roll fair. It's off the bag, and advancing on the play, it's Goldschmidt to third. Had all the English coming off the end of the bat, and it hit the bag, and luckily right to Votto. Don't see it often, but it does happen. Look at all the spin there, and it took a left turn. Once it hits the bag, you're not sure where that baby's going.
The ball is 4 feet in foul territory. You usually don't see it move that much, but it's possible.
Well, Arenado see much to hit here in this spot with the young rookie Dylan Carlson on deck.
I believe he's going to get something to hit once maybe, but he's going to try to make him chase.
It backs up for a ball. Arenado RBI triple down into the left field corner with 2 outs in the 6th. The 1-0. Arenado hits it out to deep left. How about number 30? You bet! 30 home runs! Nolan Arenado. And what a time to do it. Redbirds on top here in the 8th.
That would be the case, and there's a situation, Danny. You're trying. It's just like what Tony La Russa used to say. There's an intentional, unintentional way to walk people, and a lot of times he's talked about trying to walk guys, and pitchers will throw the ball right down the middle. This is sweet right here.
For Cardinals. Arenado with number 30, the first Cardinal first baseman to have 30 or more since 2004, and Scott Rowland.
Well, I was saying, like, you tell pitchers to pitch around guys, but especially with the breaking ball, you're going to hang some, and you saw the first breaking ball backed up, and then one just stayed right there for him to hit.
Looks like 30 is pretty meaningful to Nolan Arenado.
Well, and so is this win if they can pull this through.
Nice piece of hitting there by Dylan Carlson. Serves it into left. His second hit tonight, and he's 2 for 4. I gotta wonder, looking at this reaction and all the smiles and the high fives and the various reactions, if maybe he said, I'm getting number 30 here, or I'm looking for that with this guy. I mean, sometimes those guys, as you well know, they do that, and they say, I'm doing it right here, and maybe he just did that. I'll be curious to hear what he says after the game. 30 home runs in his first season in St. Louis, and now the chance of Yachty. Sixth time in his wonderful career, 30 or more home runs. He's tied with Nelson Cruz for the most 30 home run season since 2015. And a chance to get Alex Reyes a win here tonight as well. The 0-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. Fouled back. 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 7 head-to-head with Sims. The strikeout of Molina sends us to the 9th. Of his 30 home runs in his first year in St. Louis, maybe none bigger than this one. Late against Cincinnati, the Cardinals need a win. Nolan, he puts him up by 2.
The Birds on the bat, and a big one here tonight. Moments ago, Goldie on, Goldie home, along with Nolan Arenado in the Budweiser play of the game. And a curtain call and a 6-4 St. Louis lead. Cardinals were down 4-0 in this game. 16th go-ahead home run this year for Nolan. That's the most in the majors with Shohei Ohtani.
Still amazes me how many home runs are given up on mistakes late in the game on the pull side versus how when I broke into the league you had to hit a fastball the other way once or twice or 3 times to beat the closers back in those days.
Well, Tyler Stevenson will pinch hit for Akiyama. And Giovanni Gallegos, 4th pitcher used by St. Louis tonight. Inning in a 2/3, couple of saves, his last couple appearances. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Stevenson, Moustakas, Barrero. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Stevenson was Reds' first-round draft pick in 15. Put together a nice little year for a catcher.
He and Barnhart have been a very good 1-2 punch.
Right-handed, left-handed. I mean, that is ideal for catchers.
And very good defensively.
They both are, aren't they?
Yes.
They do a nice job, like you said.
2 balls and 1 strike. Well, this is the spot that was occupied by Naquin. He was involved in the collision in the 6th inning off the bat of Dylan Carlson. Collided with the Red shortstop and had to leave with bruised ribs. Then Akiyama came in to take over defensively, and now it's Stevenson, the pinch hitter. Matter of fact, Barnhart and Stevenson, they've only committed 2 errors combined, and both on catcher's interference. That's how good they've been. Over 1,200 innings caught. Outfield is straight away, and a 2-2 pitch to Tyler Stevenson. Tapped foul.
See if Gio's got that slider going down again. His last time out, he had a really good one. He corrected that slider he was missing with for a while there around the plate and up, and then all of a sudden started to get that slider that was coming out of his hand straight and then dropping straight down like earlier in the first half.
Three and two. Three-two pitch and fouled back. Cardinals starting play today, 3 back of the Cincinnati Reds. Chance to pull within 2 going into the head-to-head matchup tomorrow. 3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Caught him looking for the first out here in the ninth.
It's a great pitch right there by Gio. Everybody in the league knows he loves that slider, and sometimes you're just going to have to challenge guys and hopefully get a lot of situations like this. Great pitch.
So Giovanni Gallegos in his 3rd appearance this homestand is yet to allow a base runner, 2 saves and trying to make it 3. Here's Moustakas. Twice he has grounded out to second. Also a base hit to right. And way out in front. Strike 1.
All of a sudden that strikeout give you a little confidence and you throw a nasty changeup.
The 1 pitch. Outfield is deep there straight away. Nolan Arenado is even with the bag and really off the line at 3rd. Basically near the shortstop spot. The second baseman is a good 20 feet into shallow right.
It's a tough one to call right there. Third baseman's basically standing at the shortstop position when he's in with the infield in.
And the 1-1 pitch to Mike Moustakas. Foul back, 1-2. And now Nolan backs up to the shortstop position. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Cardinals trying to earn a split in the first 2. Rubber game tomorrow. J. Happ, Sonny Gray. And we'll come your way at 12:30. The 1-2 pitch. Foul back. Asdrubal Cabrera has moved to the on-deck circle. Switch hitter. Some pinch hit last night.
Let's see if we can't see what's going on right here, Dan. Fastball up. Hopefully kind of in the strike zone area. There you go.
Strikeout number 2. So Cabrera, the switch hitter, will pinch hit for Guerrero and their final hope in this ball game. Two outs, nobody on, and a shift on the infield for St. Louis. First pitch, yanked foul, strike 1. As a pinch hitter, Cabrera's had his issues, 2 for 22.
Oh, he's ready to hit that time, wasn't he?
Yep, get ready for that fastball.
That's what you got to do. You got to be ready to go. Don't let a guy like this get ahead of you and use all of his weapons. That's what you're thinking.
The 0-1. Ground ball. This should do it. The Cardinals were down 4-0. They come back and win it 6-4 on this Saturday night. And it sets up the rubber game tomorrow afternoon.
Big game right there. You could see the excitement on the home run by Arenado. These guys are fired up. Bigger game tomorrow. You've got to win 2 out of 3 against these Reds. Super exciting tonight. And look at the standings, inching a little closer.
Arenado with home run number 30. A game winner for St. Louis. Reyes picks up the win. Gallegos to save. And it's off to the post-game show. Entertaining night of baseball here in St. Louis. 6-4 the final.
In game 2, Ricky Horton is with us on Cardinals Live. Coming up, Miles Michaelis in search of his first win in nearly 2 years. Rick will break down his evening, plus the Cards. Well, they're playing the Cardiac Cards tonight. We'll show you how they chipped away in this one, and we'll get you plenty of reaction from Busch Stadium as well. Stay tuned. Cardinals Live is coming your way next on Bally Sports. Shot by Nolan Arenado. The Cardinals come back and they win it tonight over the Reds in game 2 by a final of 6-4 at Busch Stadium. And welcome inside our Bally Sports Midwest studios here at Ballpark Village. It is Cardinals Live. Scott Warman with you. We are joined by Ricky Horton. And Ricky, man, oh man, what a win for the Redbirds. You know, you're down 4-0, top of the third, you're going, uh-oh. And the Cards just kept chipping away.
Well, it's the win they needed. There's no doubt about it. And they did it in a great style. What a terrific game to watch. A lot of energy to it, a lot of action to it, and a comeback to it. And you've got your all-star, Nolan Arenado, contributing on the offensive side. The win goes to your all-star reliever, Alex Reyes. And the big 3 gets it done. Now, they didn't get it done 1-2-3. It's now 1-3-2. Different order for those guys, but they were all terrific. Just a great win at Busch Stadium. And now you can go for the series win tomorrow.
So out of the 30 home runs, that's now 16 go-ahead home runs for Nolan Arenado. As Danny mentioned, that ties Shohei Ohtani for number 1 in all of Major League Baseball.
Well, it was really interesting, Scotty, and we had the postgame last night, and we had Nolan Arenado on. And Nolan Arenado was as down about himself as I've ever seen him. And he was just being honest. He said, I'm not playing well. I'm not helping the team. I'm not, and then he asked him something about kind of a big picture thing about the team in general. He said, I can't think about anybody else right now. I got to worry about myself because all I know is I'm not helping. And so got to be a big load off of him to be able to contribute in such a big way in this game. And he did it twice.
Yep, absolutely. Got the triple. In fact, he was 1 for 16 on this homestand before he got the triple, and then eventually the go-ahead home run for the Redbirds. Obviously, Arenado is our Mid-America Chevy Dealer Player of the Game. Let's get over to Busch Stadium. He's with our own Jim Hayes. Jim?
RBI triple and a 2-run homer for Nolan Arenado. The homer put the Cardinals on top for good number 30 for Nolan. Nolan, how about the way you guys battled back down 4-0 in this?
Yeah, it was a great team win. I mean, against a really good pitcher. I mean, Castillo's one of the best in the game. You know, his ERA doesn't really do him justice of how good he is. And to see us go out there and battle back and find a way to win, it felt really good. It's, like I said, it's tough against those guys. They got some good arms, and it just feels great to win.
The home run came on a 1-0 slider. Looked up, out over the plate. You jumped on.
Yeah, you know, Sim's another good pitcher. You know, he's got a really good fastball, and I just try to stay on the fastball and see something up, and I was able to get enough of it. At first, I didn't think it was going to go because sometimes here you never know, but I just thank God that I was able to put a good swing and it was going out of the ballpark.
So many of your homers this year have been go-ahead homers. Seems like you thrive in those situations.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't know what it is. I pray and I hope I continue to do it and find a way to help the team win in those situations. I think that's a good sign. You know, I don't really have the answers for it. I'm just happy that I'm doing it.
It's good. How about the bullpen tonight, 4 scoreless?
They did a great job, man. They've done a great job. You know, we've used them a lot this year, and they continue to fight. A-Ray looked like his old self. You know, that was the A-Ray we know, and Gallego shut the door, man. But all those guys, they've done a really great job for us.
Thanks for the time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys, Nolan Arenado.
Jimmy Nolan, thanks so much. All right, so taking the lead, we mentioned 16 this year go-ahead home runs for Nolan Arenado. That leads Major League Baseball, but you go back to 2019, Ricky, and there he is, right on top with medals.
Well, when teams win, their all-stars are all-stars, and they get the big hits, and that's what makes them all-stars, by the way. So it kind of works that way. And Arenado certainly has been a perennial all-star and a guy that you can count on late in the games, and he certainly came through tonight. And it's just fun to kind of listen to him talk about it and say, well, I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm just glad I am, and I want to keep doing it.
All right, so the Birds tied it in a 2-out rally in the 6th inning. We go to the 8th inning, 1 down, and here's a nice gapper here by Paul Goldschmidt, Ricky.
So Goldschmidt's hit might go unrecognized in this game, but it's a big hit. He got something going and gave the Cardinals a chance to get on the board.
And then here's Tyler O'Neill. You ever seen one of these before?
I've never seen it.
I know.
That was 10 feet foul at one point. No wonder Tyler didn't get out of the box. Yeah, I did see a play like that while I was watching billiards.
And then here is the bomb by Nolan Arenado. You know what? This kind of reminded me of the home opener this year. How about you?
Yeah, I can see that. There's no doubt. And, you know, this is a bigger moment, though. I mean, a home opener, yeah, we love it. But the Cardinals needed to win this game. We talked about it in the pregame. A must-win today, and the Cardinals and Nolan Arenado got it done.
All right, Ricky, let's take a look at the game summary here as the Reds 4-6-0. They leave 3 runners on. The Birds 6-11-0 as they also leave 3 runners on base. And for Nolan Arenado, as we mentioned, 2 hits tonight. Also 2 hits for Paul DeJong. And for the Cardinals, great to see Alex Reyes pick up another win in his 1 inning of relief. And Giovanni Gallegos picking up his 7th save as he shuts things down in the 9th inning. In fact, Nolan Arenado mentioning to Jim during their conversation what a great 4 innings the Cardinals got out of their bullpen here tonight.
Yeah, and he said A-Ray is the A-Ray that we knew at the beginning of the season. He's absolutely right. He's just, I think, found a home maybe in a different situation. Just needed a look and a different look. And he's been a guy that's contributing big time. And, of course, Gallegos is responding to being a closer, and he's been a closer before. We've seen him in that role in the past. And he's looking sharp as well. And, again, nice to have Cabrera back. And he had the nail issue and was out for a couple of days. So pitching important. Michaelis kind of bent a little bit, had a bad inning, which we hoped he would stay away from. He had a bad inning, but that's it. He was able to settle down after that, give his team a chance to win. And you mentioned Paul DeJong. I have to go back to him. Paul DeJong with 2 hits today. That could be huge for him and also for the Cardinals team collectively if he starts seeing the ball well.
I agree wholeheartedly. So the 4 innings of relief in place of the starter tonight, Miles Michaelis, who goes 5 innings for St. Louis. Let's get across the street and hear from the Card starter.
I was in the dugout. I was behind Wayno and Jack, and as soon as I saw it in the air, I was excited. Just, you know, for the team, for St. Louis, everybody. That was the home run we needed. I think that's the one. You know, win like this, I think that this can really get us going.
Nolan yesterday was very critical of himself, and I know, you know, that's something that he sort of takes very personally, his own production, but how do you just see him sort of going through this season? How much do you value a guy who is as productive as he is, but still feels like there's more that he can unlock?
I think we were all joking about it the other day. You know, he's probably going to finish with 30 homers and 100 RBIs, and he hates it, which I think is incredible. It just speaks to, you know, his standard of excellence, and, you know, it is something that is inspiring in a way. I mean, for to take all that, you know, all that onus on himself and own up to whatever he does, and you know, kind of put that on his back, and, you know, he's a guy that's going to lead us for sure.
And for your name specifically, with that third inning, was that, you know, maybe a little more stuff on the plate that you want? I guess can you kind of take us those 2 home runs and what was any different about that inning than the other couple you had?
Yeah, I'm trying to throw a strike to India there. You know, I don't want to walk him, although with 2 outs, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, better than that, but, you know, just the breaking ball catches too much plate, and then I kind of overcooked a curveball to Castellanos, and it just kind of slipped and stayed up. You know, they're good hitters, and you're going to make a mistake, they're going to make you pay. And as soon as MLB instates the rule where you can forget about 1 bad inning, I'm going to be in great shape.
Katie Wu, The Athletic.
Miles, this is the 3rd outing where your stuff has looked crisp, you've been efficient, it looks like everything is going for you, and a couple of mistakes have just hindered the line overall. How close do you feel like you are to putting everything together?
I feel really close. I mean, the stuff is there, and for more than 90% of the time, the location is there. But these are major league hitters, and as soon as you make a mistake, they're going to pounce on it. I mean, you know, India's a good hitter. Castellanos is right there at the top of the league. You know, they're there because they hit mistakes, and, you know, just maybe being a little more careful around, you know, some of those power guys, some of those 3, 4, 5 guys, you know, might serve me well.
Thank you.
Well, Ricky touched on it. Paul DeJong with a big night offensively. We'll talk about the Redbird shortstop as we continue on Cardinals Live. Cardinals Live on Bally Sports is brought to you by Central Bank, the hometown bank of the Cardinals. Visit cardinalschecking.com, and by Cardinal Glennon. Pledge for patients at homersforhealth.org to support Cardinal Glennon kids. Time for Menard's big money moments. You know, Ricky Horton, 4 hits from the 7-8 guys in the order tonight. Harrison Bader with 2, and as you mentioned in the last segment, 2 big hits, including this home run for the Card shortstop, Paul DeJong.
And 2 guys you'd love to get going offensively, in Bader and Paul DeJong. They've had their moments this year, but boy, you want them to finish strong. And you want Edmundo Sosa back in the lineup and to be playing every once in a while, of course. But you want everybody hitting, whether it's DeJong or if Sosa's playing somewhere else, it doesn't matter. You want hot batters up and down your lineup. You want to be able to get that production, Scotty, at the bottom of your lineup. Very, very important to roll it over and let the big boys drive them in.
Yeah, we both know Paul A.D. pretty well. We know it has been a frustrating year, so good to see him come around at least in tonight's game. In fact, let's get to Busch Stadium right now and hear from the Card shortstop.
Yeah, we've relied on Nolan all year for obviously his glove. We know we can do with that, but yeah, 30 homers and 100 RBIs, and it's a down year for him, according to him. But you know, I think his timing's been unbelievable. Some big hits that won us some games, and so you know that was just great for us tonight. I lost my voice a little bit screaming in the dugout, but he was. You know, it's nothing special there with him. I mean, we expect that from him, and he wants that opportunity, and he takes advantage of it. So we love having him.
From your end, tonight is the first game of the season that you all won when you were trailing by 4 or more at any point. How important is it to get the one back that you got immediately there in the bottom of the 3rd, both from a team perspective and also for you to be able to have that contribution and kind of get the ball rolling tonight?
For sure. I mean, early in the game, you know, we knew we had plenty of chances left, and we've gotten Castillo in the past, so, you know, it's just a matter of time where we just had to put together some good at-bats, and I thought we did a really good job. He went deep into the game, but, you know, we got got some runs, some big 2-out hits. I think we just grinded throughout. We knew we had to win this game, and coming down to the wire here. So, it's all hands on deck. We're just kind of playing that playoff mentality of, what can I do right now to help this team.
Brendan Schaefer, KMOV.
Paul, as you guys were climbing back into this game, how would you describe the kind of mentality and the vibe within the dugout as you guys, as you mentioned, knew it was a game you all had to win and were able to do so? Just as you guys were coming back, what was the vibe like?
It was just calm and collected, confident. I think we just, we knew what we had to do. It was just a matter of time, and each of us individually had to go up there and do what we had to do to help the team in that situation. So I thought we just put together some good at bats off Castillo. Didn't strike out too much. We really put the ball in play, put the pressure on them, and I thought they made a couple plays, but we got a couple plays our way as well. So it was just a really good game. I thought just the energy from us tonight was just something we got to build off of.
Rick Hummel, St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
You ever score a run before that you actually didn't score?
Yeah, that was a big part of the game. I thought we just tied it up. I didn't know what was going on with the slide, and then I got in the dugout, and all of a sudden I could just feel the energy kind of drain away because we knew they were challenging it. And looking at Bader, he looked like he thought he may have done something wrong. So in that situation, yeah, he was being aggressive, trying to break up that double play, but it didn't help us in the end. But I thought we stayed strong throughout the whole game, knowing we didn't get that run, but we still kept pushing.
How hard was it? You had to come back from 2 double plays. Actually, India shortstop made a terrific double play on Goldschmidt a couple innings before that when you had a big inning going.
Yeah, I thought when the Goldie hit that ball, I thought it was up the middle for sure. Goldie even thought it was up the middle too, and so just India's been pretty good over there defensively, and Barrera made a nice turn. They can make some plays over there where we know what they can do. It's just a matter of finding those holes, and it was a big moment at the time, but I think the theme of tonight is we didn't get discouraged, and we just kept going on that. We had chances, and being the home team, just an advantage for us tonight.
Did you find that your balance felt right tonight at the plate?
Absolutely. Castillo, he's going to challenge you with that fastball, and he's got a really good changeup. So, I was just trying to get something up and out over the plate that looked like it started outside and would run back, knowing that he commands inside really well and away not so much. So, knowing that everything's going to be coming into me, I was just trying to stay tall and look for something that started in the right spot.
Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals celebrating a comeback win. When we come back, we'll take a look at some games we're watching and the wild card standings as we continue on Cardinals Live. Let's go around the league, take a look at some highlights, some history in Milwaukee. Josh Hader getting the out here, and for the second time in Brewers history. How about this, Ricky Horton? A combined no-hitter. Corbin Burnes goes 8, and Hader closes it out. And the Brewers blank and no-hit the Cleveland Indians. In fact, Ricky, the Indians have been no-hit 3 times this year.
So they know the feeling, but of course, the Brewers are pretty excited about it. Kane, by the way, made a great play in that game, so he was part of it. Imagine that. But Burnes over 100 pitches, and they don't like to have their pitchers go more than 100 pitches. And I'm sure there was a tense moment, even sending him out for the 8th inning. But Burnes, we know how good he can be, and of course, Hader, much the same.
Absolutely. So the Padres in L.A., and they're facing Walker Buehler tonight. They got Scherzer tomorrow. They're up by 2, but here comes Mr. Tatis.
Yeah, unfortunately, this ends up as a 2-run home run and ties the game. Dodgers got off to an early 2-0 lead, but Dodgers playing at home, and they've got a good bullpen, and Buehler doesn't give up much, so there's still hope. And that's a huge game for the Cardinals out there in Los Angeles.
Absolutely, because remember, San Diego, Cincinnati tied heading into today's action. So Cincinnati with the loss right now, half game behind San Diego, obviously with that game pending. Philadelphia earlier tonight defeats Colorado 6-1. So there you see the Phillies are still a half game behind St. Louis, and right now in the 7th, Mets leading the Yankees by a score of 6-5. As you see the Cardinals 2.5 out. And you've been saying, Ricky, even last night, that it is very important if the Cardinals want to have a shot at this wild card to win 2 out of 3 this week. And then, of course, they come back and do the job here tonight.
Yeah, I think if they would have lost tonight, then you start looking at a bigger number, because it swings, big when you're playing the team that you're trying to catch. It goes 2 in the other direction, really, about what you're hoping for. So the Cardinals, again, I don't want to say must win tomorrow, but it's close to that. And so the chance to pick up a game on Cincinnati tomorrow, a chance when you're looking at San Diego playing against the Dodgers, that's kind of the prime place you want them to be. And the Padres will be in St. Louis next weekend, too, so you have a chance to take care of business then as well. So we've got a lot of good moments ahead of us in the 2021 season.
Yeah, we knew the schedule was going to be tough for the Redbirds coming up in September, but however, they win it tonight as they come back with a 6-4 victory over the Cincinnati Reds. In fact, let's get back to Busch Stadium right now and hear from the Cards manager, Mike Schilt. It's brought to you by the Painting and Decorating Foundation.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what, that's just, we just fought our tails off tonight. That was just a will to win, not that we don't have it every night, but get down, it's 4-0, and like I said, India made a really nice play on double play ball, and then, the unconventional double play ball by the rule book, which is technically right, but definitely new school baseball. And just fought, scratched, clawed, and found a way to win a baseball game. Guys, and team win, a lot of contribution from everybody.
Well, there wasn't much impeding by Bader of Guerrero on that slide, even though the slide was off. Is that the letter of the law type thing where they had to go by that?
Letter of the law, it's by definition. They got it right. I'm all about safety, and I'm all about making sure player health takes place, but I'm also all about, playing the game with some, old school, get after it, break up a double play. Wasn't even really any contact, but letter of the law, they nailed it. I have no issue with, umpires or replay because they got it right.
How did you enjoy seeing your 3 late relievers reel out 4 scoreless innings, kind of like they've done a lot of the season?
Yeah, they've been fantastic. You know what? And Cabby was tremendous. If you're going to come back in a game, somebody's going to stop the bleeding. And Miles initially stopped it, to his credit. And then Cabby went in there and grabbed a clean 6th, clean 7th. Alex took down the top of the order in the 8th. And Gio brought it home. Those guys were fantastic. All of them worked ahead, controlled counts. Cabby with a great fastball. Alex mixed in some really, really dirty changeups, as did Gio. Those 3 guys were tremendous for us again.
Have you seen 2 replays challenges that worked out, one for each team, that were so beneficial? Like they took a run off the board on one of yours, and you got an infield hit that set up a 2-run inning.
Yeah, that's a good call. It was big. Tyler with the swinging bunt, 2 strikes, busted down the line, didn't take anything for granted. Banger, but clearly safe, and replay gave us back some love, and we know it happened. And then Nolan with the big triple, 2-strike triple after that, and Dylan found some space in center field. I hope Naquin's okay, to tie it. I thought Dylan had some good at bats tonight. Obviously Pauly with somebody I'm sure will bring it up, but man, that was great down 4, and Pauly punched right back with that solo homer. Got us back in it. Obviously on the scoreboard, also mentally too.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Zach Silver, MLB.com.
Like when Nolan had a very similar homer to this one tonight during the home opener, you talked a lot about how he moving your guys' needles, how his needles being moving. How much is just his attitude towards his production? And I talked last night about how he's disappointed, but still the production he's doing. How much does he just his passion and his attitude, I guess, move the needle throughout the course of the season?
I love the drive. Love the heart. I love the. I'm gonna expect to get it done myself. I'm gonna figure it out. If I don't, I'm gonna, I always pray he's not too hard on himself, because he cares so much, he works so hard, he wants it really, really badly, and he's all in, but it's a great trait to want those opportunities, and another great trait when you feel like you didn't have your best game, to be able to come back and not try to do too much and just bear down. And he was locked in as always, and like I said, a big 2-strike triple, and then punish the hanging slider. big swing.
As we continue on Cardinals Live, we will preview the rubber game of the three-game set between the Cards and the Reds when we come back. Win tonight at Busch Stadium as they defeat the Reds by a final of 6-4. Coming up on Sunday, it's the rubber game of the three-game set between the Cardinals and the Reds. We'll have it for you here on Bally Sports as our coverage gets underway at 12:30. And Ricky, J-Happ versus Sonny Gray.
Well, J-Happ has been really good as a Cardinal. He's been commanding the zone, and he had one clunker, but other than that, he's given the team a chance to win every time he goes out there. Sonny Gray on the other side is a guy that gets a lot of ground ball outs. He's a kind of a strike thrower, and, you know, he's tough, too. Everything he throws moves, and, of course, a different pitcher than what we saw today, but he, in his own right, can be very dominating.
All right, Ricky, let's get to your final thoughts.
Well, here's my final thoughts, and I'm going to steal them from Paul DeYoung. I mean, he was a big guy today, right? He said, don't get discouraged. That was our theme of the day. Don't get discouraged. I think maybe we all can take something from that as we've been going up and down with the Cardinals in 2021.
Well, hopefully it keeps going up on Sunday and they can win this series. 12:30 is when our coverage starts. We see you then here on Bally Sports.